runs or not. It'll be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car. And as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now. Call 1-800-639-8620. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-639-8620. That's 1-800-639-8620.
Good morning, Fan Run Nation. Hope you all had an amazing weekend and that you're keeping the upper hand in this battle with the summer heat. Well, we are just days away from August, which means college football has entered the chat full time on this show, and we are there for it. The Vol football team, they've convened on campus with a team meeting last night. Practice drills move full steam ahead starting on Wednesday. Josh Heupel talking tomorrow. We'll talk about what to keep an eye on and address that elephant in the room once more before Coach has something to say about Boo Carter tomorrow. We'll also get some perspective from one of the best in the biz as Ryan Shumpert from Rocky Top Insider joins us in hour one. We'll also get a national perspective on our Vols along with the SEC in general. This time it's the latest conference projections from Bill Connolly of ESPN. That comes in hour two, along with a little believe it, don't believe it, discussing what we are wondering when it comes to Josh Heupel's control of the Vol locker room. Some of this stuff just an aberration, or should we be concerned? We have thoughts. Fan Run's own Russell Smith will join us for that discussion, all coming your way in hour two. Got some champions of the weekend to crown and a review on the Happy Gilmore sequel on a loaded Read and React Monday edition of Under Review. Let's buckle up and get to it right now.
From the studios of Fox Sports Knoxville, it's time for Under Review with Bob Baskerville on Fan Run Radio.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Monday, a new week. Same kind of temperatures, but a new week, and we are closing in. T-minus 33 days till football time in Tennessee. Only 2 days till the boys take the field for practice. And 26 days, less than 30, till week 0 kicks off where there's actual football being played. Not our guys, but just the same. We'll be watching. Got a lot to cover today. Got a lot to cover all week as we get closer and closer to go time. We're coming to you live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios of Fan Run Radio. This is Under Review. I'm your host, Bob Baskerville, joined as always, back from a long weekend. We got Sam Beard here. Happy about that. Got Brett Hollander across the way. Jake Jenkins, too. We're all here, kicking off a new week. And you, the listener, as always, appreciate you spending time with us, however you choose to do that, whether it's live on the radio dial, AM 1340, or on the other side at FM 105.7, maybe a live stream on fanrunradio.com. Maybe you're using that free Fan Run mobile app to stream it on your mobile device. Maybe you check us out as podcasts later, wherever you look for us on or listen to podcasts, we're there for you. And then also Fan Run TV. What up? Looking at you right now on YouTube. That's where the channel is. You can like and subscribe. We're also findable for video on Facebook and on X. Long story short, however you choose to support the brand, support Fan Run Radio, support Under Review, thank you so much. Means a lot. You can also be a part of the program today. Let us know what's on your mind. Phone lines are open. Text box is open. Same number gets you to both paths. Area code 865-966-3435. That's 966-3435. You can also find us on X. You can hit us up over there at Fox Sports Knox. Boys, we're getting close. Not crazy close. We still got some weeks to talk through, but
it's crazy close, Bob. You got your football timeline all wrong this morning.
Well, I mean,
it's 4 days until football,
I guess. Well, Hall of Fame game.
I mean, it's the start of football.
That's
once
fair.
we get to the Hall of Fame game.
Who's playing in the Hall of Fame game this year? Do you know?
Chargers
I'll say
and
Lions. Or
yeah, that
something.
sounds right. Yeah, it is the Lions and Chargers.
I heard some analogy, it wasn't my own, but on like national sports talk radio this weekend saying that the Hall of Fame game is kind of like bubble gum, meaning you know those first few minutes you're chewing on bubble gum, it's like, God, this is delicious.
Yeah.
This is so good. And then all of a sudden you're like, why am I chewing this? There's nothing there.
Should see a lot of Hooker.
Yeah.
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 Apparently he's been kind of lighting up
I know.
Lions practice.
That's why I'm excited. I mean, showcase maybe. I don't
I'm
know.
a little concerned there, Brett, at first. I just get to see a lot of
a lot of hookers out there.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
A lot of Hooker. Yeah.
But yeah, that's true. He'll get some run for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking back when that guy said that. I was like, yeah, it's kind of true, man. I dial in for the beginning of that Hall of Fame game, but about the second quarter, I'm done.
It's just I mean, it's not great football, definitely, but it's the fact that it's the first signal of the return of football to me, because
right.
You get all the tweets on your your social media timeline about, oh, you got this many days till football, you got this many weekends till football.
Got this guy fighting that guy.
Last Thursday was the last football without, or the last Thursday without football until the Super Bowl, like after the Super Bowl. We're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
That's true.
You got to just take what you can get. And it's a small little bit that you're taking with the Hall of Fame game, but it's just a taste of football. You hear the pads crack.
Well,
sound of the whistle.
Just think by Thursday too, we'll be talking about, I don't know how much we'll truly see or learn, but practice will be underway for our guys.
Ball be rolling.
Ball will be rolling. The ball will be rolling. And we got a big week too, as far as guests and everything else. I mean, we do a pretty good job getting guests in, but I mean, we're going to be hearing from all sorts of perspectives. Like I said earlier, Shump's joining us today. We got Trey Wallace tomorrow, who always has some stuff to say. He'll be peacocking around because his cuz Bubba won the Brickyard yesterday.
Nice.
At the Cathedral.
Nice.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Wednesday, new guest to the show, Chris Lowe from ESPN will be hopping on. Looking forward to that.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. And then, of course, Jake Crane, like he always joins us, and Ryan Sylvia. We got a lot. There's more than that. It's going to be. I was sitting there plotting out the week, Sam, and I was like, "What are we talking about? Dead period, man. We got a lot. Feel good. How was your weekend, man?
Good weekend for me. I had to get up and back quick because my roommate was gone, so he's got a couple cats, so I can't just leave them just hanging around. But kind of a chill weekend. Still, the internet comes today, Bob. Internet comes today, so I'll be in a little bit more of a functioning house. I will say it's been kind of freeing having no internet. You know, you kind of just I'm not as inclined to scroll as much on my phone or throw some show up on TV or watch some movie or anything like that. Got outside, went and played some golf yesterday, enjoyed the weather. And I also think the no AC is kind of just forcing me to kind of condition myself to this weather. Like I feel almost unbothered by anything at this point. I was just out there middle of the day playing golf yesterday. We started at like 11:45, maybe like the worst time of day to go play golf, just playing from like noon to 4, basically, just right through the heat of the day. But honestly, wasn't even really fazed by it. And then got back home, and my roommate came back from the beach, and I was like, does it feel like 77 upstairs here to you? And he's like, I mean, yeah, kind of. I was like, all right, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's me living in it for a week and not really, just acclimating to my current climate. But internet today, I believe AC tomorrow.
That's big.
We'll be rolling by the time practice for Tennessee football and everything is getting going. So football's coming back. Regular life is coming back for me. I'm feeling pretty solid.
I have a buddy who you talked about just kind of not having the internet and how it maybe felt a little liberating for a minute. I have a buddy who he does this a lot, and it frustrates the hell out of me and my friends, but he'll just shut his phone off sometimes for like a whole weekend.
That's awesome.
And as much as we've kind of bitched about it, we've also been like, sometimes like, man, that's probably not bad.
Man, that sounds nice.
Yeah. I mean, he's married, and his wife, he's usually doing stuff with his wife, so she knows where he is.
Okay, I was going to say, like, is he in a relationship? Does he
Yeah, but it's
have like a little flip phone maybe on him, or like for an emergency call, or just your
now he just
SOL if you need to call him and he can't get to the phone.
take it a step further. A lot of times he'll just like he not only shuts his phone off, like if they're going somewhere, he like puts the phone like in the center console of his car
And just leaves.
it there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it seems so counterintuitive in this era, but I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe I should be taking some notes there.
Yeah, I mean, you do rely on it so much that it's like at some point you are probably going to need your phone to make some important call or text or
Right.
respond to some email or something like that. But at the same time, you do realize you're spending a lot of time just kind of doing mindless stuff on your phone, and it's nice to be able to kind of unplug for a little bit and throw it out. I don't know if I can throw it into the center console and go out for a full day type of thing, but felt good just not really knowing that I've got all that much useful on my phone right now.
And I should also clarify for anybody who's out there going, well, wait a minute, what if these folks don't have kids either?
Yeah.
So they got, it's really just them. So that's what they do.
New hack for men out there. Just
shut
your phone off and
get your mental health back for a day or two. And I don't know, might be something to look into. Brad, how are things going with you?
Good. With football comes fantasy football. So been talking with my buddies trying to get a date knocked down because, I mean, you're like a month or so away from that starting. NFL. Got soccer as well, fantasy soccer I'm doing. So been doing soccer podcasts all weekend and trying to get ready for that season too. So it's busy on that front too. So I know we'll talk about watched Happy Gilmore too. So I'll have some thoughts on that later on. But, overall, I thought it was decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That is the downfall of the no internet. I've just been.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, okay. We may have to hold off on our.
No, it's fine. I mean, it can't be much different than Happy Gilmore 1.
No, it's not.
It's an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It just hit me. I think for 3 weeks from Wednesday, I have my first fantasy football draft. We have to do one. There's this group of us. We've been doing it forever. I mean, 25 plus years. And we have to go that early because one of our guys, because the draft is like the funnest part. We all get together in person and everything else. Yeah. One of our guys, I've mentioned him before. He does a lot of work for ESPN, and he gets assigned the U.S. Open for tennis every year. And he has to leave like that weekend of the 23rd or whatever, which we hate. We hate going that early ahead of the regular season, but we plug in this thing where you get one free move if a player still
training camp injury.
Yeah. It's like out but they gotta be out for the year.
Okay.
Something that's just cataclysmic,
sure.
But then you get to go get a player if that happens, but don't love going that early, but still kind of excited because it's coming. It's only a little over 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
Fantasy drafts are awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Madden just dropped their all 99 club as well. So it's fun. It's definitely fun.
And then Jake Jenkins is sitting here going, what in the world are you talking about?
Well, he has a movie review for us, right? He saw something.
Oh, I saw it too.
Oh, you saw it too?
Yeah, but Jake, you go first.
I liked it. I thought.
Liked what?
The Fantastic Four.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. I did think Superman was better, but it was a above average Marvel movie. And with the past ones we've got, I thought it was really good. It was really good, family aspects, and it looked great. And I liked it.
If you gave it a letter grade, what would you give it?
And I give it a B+.
That's exactly where I net out. I saw it too. My daughter, Eva, she wanted, even though you guys will probably go see it again as a group, it sounds like, but she wanted to see it. So we were like, yeah, let's go. My wife, she backed out. She was like, nah, I'm good. Because I'm not a big sci-fi fan. So we went Saturday night. I liked it. I think production design wise, it's phenomenal.
It looks great.
Yeah, it looks like kind of retro but futuristic at the same time. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what it was they were trying to do, but it was awesome. And I thought it was good. B+ would be fair.
Yeah.
I wasn't coming out like, man, that's amazing. It was like, yeah, it was good. It was fun. I would recommend Fantastic Four. And they've already teed it up for what they'll be in the next Avengers.
Next Avengers movie, yeah.
So the money machine of Marvel just keeps going, man. Just keeps chugging along.
Never ends.
I heard an interesting podcast that they have to do a whole reboot on what they're trying to achieve because they deluged the Disney Channel or Disney Plus with so much TV content for Marvel that fans started getting disinterested. It was like, I don't even know what to watch. I can't even follow it all. And it's kind of true. I mean, they have
there's so much. And like, if you want to get caught up, you have to watch like 20 plus movies and all these TV shows.
Yeah. Now they're saying that, like they don't know if they'll ever see the box office pull that they got for like Avengers Endgame a few years ago, because that was like just epic. So they're kind of rethinking how they're going to do all that. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, and we will talk about Happy Gilmore a little bit later. I watched that last night.
You don't sound thrilled, Bob.
Well, I did fall asleep.
Oh.
Towards the end. So
sorry, Adam Sandler.
Not sure if that's about the movie itself or that I'm just getting older and I get sleepy. I don't know. But we will talk about it because there's other stuff happening in the media world too. We'll get to all that later on in the show. But first, we got a little bit of football to talk about. It's back, like we said. I'm convinced after I was saying, we got a little bit of time. Sounds like the rest of the boys in the room are kind of like, no, you're crazy.
It is time.
It is time. Like I said in the open, they are definitely front and center, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that coming up. Topic A today is Tennessee football. Talking season is over. Let the real countdown begin, because even in the countdown, there's going to be some activity, and there's still a few question marks about some things. And while we don't have any clarity on that, we're going to talk a little bit about that in the next segment. Ryan Shumpert will also join us later in the hour to get his take on things. And Shump's also working the basketball stuff like a champ too, because there's a lot going on in the basketball stuff. So we're going to talk about all that in hour one. Russell Smith joining us in hour two. Do a little believe it, don't believe it. There's a lot. We're going to get to it here right after this. Stick around. Quick timeout. We'll be back with Topic A. You're listening to Under Review, and it's Fan Run Radio.
Yeehaw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Hall of Fame Wine & Spirits is Knoxville's new one-stop shop for legendary deals on all your favorite adult beverages. Conveniently located on Hall of Fame Drive, less than a mile from the Smokies' new downtown ballpark, Hall of Fame Wine & Spirits has everything you need for your next gathering with friends or a relaxing weekend at home. So stop by and show some love to this new local business and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Hall of Fame Wine & Spirits, 742 Hall of Fame Drive, online at hofknox.com.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update, presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Braves start a 3-game set against the Rangers. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Radio Network morning update.
Get clean car happy all season long at Tidal Wave with exclusive membership discounts, giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for more information.
The Braves dropped a 3-game set to the Giants and a 3-game set to the Yankees on the previous homestand. They dropped to 26 and 26 at home this season. They'll look to get back on the winning track tonight in Arlington, Texas, against the Texas Rangers. Nathan Eovaldi, the veteran, going for the Rangers. He's 7-3, has a 1.58 ERA this season, 94 strikeouts, and an 0.85 whip. Joey Wentz going for the Braves. He's 2-1, has a 5.71 ERA and 36 strikeouts, of course. This 9-game road trip includes the trade deadline. We'll see if the Braves make any moves between now and August 1st. For leadoff show coming your way, 6:50 Eastern, 5:50 Central. First pitch against the Rangers, 8:05 Eastern, 7:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Welcome back. Topic A for this Monday, football. That's it. Thanks for joining today. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to go talk about football amongst ourselves. No, we're going to talk about the football season that lies ahead, because now we keep doing the countdown of how many days it'll be till football time in Tennessee. Now the countdown is also including how many days it is till the boys take the field for practice. And that is 2 days. Now, by all reports, the Vols have gathered on campus, got full-blown practice, like I mentioned, beginning on Wednesday. Before that, though, our coach, Josh Heupel, will address the media tomorrow, I think around 12:45. It'll be happening around the time we'll be going off the air tomorrow. Gee, Sam, I wonder what or who the primary questions will surround on this. Not sure it'll be about
Max Gilbert,
Jackson Moy, Braylon Staley. If Josh is smart, and he is smart, I don't think you wait for the question. I think you just come out and tackle that thing right off the top.
Yeah.
Of course, we're referring to Boo Carter. And speaking of, any updates or notes on Boo Carter? I don't know. We're all scouring social media waiting for something to break. I said it last Friday. I believe it. I don't think we're going to hear much more that's concrete now until we hear from Josh tomorrow. But I don't know, Sam. It feels like the tides have turned a little bit, if we're to believe some of the scuttle, that maybe Boo has said he wants to come back, show some contrition, apologize to the teammates. Might be netting out kind of the way you stood by it, your prediction of this is going to turn into, if you count what happened at the beginning of the year when he went in and said, hey, give me my money. I need more money or I'm going to take off. That maybe would be strike one. Maybe this is strike two.
It seems that way. And I think there's a portion of people that are out there that are saying, I don't care how talented he is, he's used enough strikes type of thing. And I think that's also a very fair assessment if that's how you want to kind of stand on it as well. And, you want to set a standard for this program in this locker room. Totally get it. To me, though, I just think he's a guy that is talented enough to where if there is just a part of him at all that wants to, kind of man up and go up in front of his teammates and in front of his coaches and say, hand up, I screwed this process up and I didn't go about it in the right way. And, wasn't respecting the team, wasn't respecting the locker room. We've got a bigger thing at hand to go out there and try and accomplish. And it's not just all about me. If he can go out there and say that stuff and try to, build back some bridges that he's potentially burned in the locker room, to me, I think he's a talented enough player to make that case worth it. But I do think it's going to take some work, and I would hope for his sake that he kind of, sends that message and the guys can kind of come back a little bit with open arms and say, hey, man, we'll take you back. But A, this stuff can't happen ever again. And B, we're going to need you to be a relentless worker in fall camp. And I need you to kind of show us why how much you want to be here type of thing, because I do think it does give me a little bit of a feeling of like, oh, I don't have any other option to go right now. So I'm just going to go back because I have to play football this year. So I need, you kind of need him to prove like, not only do I want to be back here again, but I want to go give my all for Tennessee type of thing. You've got a lot of guys in this locker room, it seems like, after the Nico drama that are very bought into giving their all for Tennessee and making sure that the right people and the right standards are with this program. And, I think at this point it's up to Boo to uphold those in fall camp if he does choose to come back. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to take kind of some work from both sides and both parties to kind of mend these relationships maybe.
Yeah, I do. I totally agree. I think that, I don't know. I don't want to say I feel good about it. I feel better about it than I did. I mean, if you were asking my, like, and, kind of like right now off the top of your head, are you in or out on Boo Carter? Around middle of last week, I would have said he's not coming back, or he's not going to be welcome back. It's going to be one or the other. And so, that's, I'm not going to lie, then that gets you kind of wobbly on other aspects of, okay, what's going on in the locker room? Because, it kind of all this coincidentally coincides with Nico talking on Thursday and kind of conjuring up all that stuff again, spinning it up a little bit. But I think we're past that now. And I don't know. I mean, if you look on social media, it sounds like Boo's camp, so to speak, is speaking in the positive as well. So look, he doesn't have anywhere else he can really go play right now.
Yeah.
I mean, without paying his own way to go. So from my perspective, I just think that let's ride the wave. But I have my eyes wide open too, that I'd say there's a pretty good chance we'll be going through this whole drill with him, although it might be a little more final come next off season. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he goes and says, okay, now I need more money. And maybe he'll have the wherewithal to understand that if you do that, just be prepared to leave, because there won't be another, like you said, Sam, there won't be another opportunity. This strike three, he'll be out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If we're going through another full season and he gets to a portal window with the opportunity to go leave, I would expect him to probably be out the door type of thing. But as it relates to this season, I think he's a very important football player to this year's team, not only, defensively, but potentially even offensively, 100% on special teams. The guy's a playmaker for sure. And I know, it's bringing a lot of baggage with him on the way over the last week or two with all that's kind of transpired since then. But at some point, I do think every team has a handful of players that probably have some baggage and are kind of a handful to deal with. And if you can kind of come out on the right side and, not have burned every single bridge in that building type of thing, I do think there's going to be, a portion of the period of time where getting back into real football kind of heals all type of thing. I think it's a lot of summer workout stuff and showing up to meetings. And I think once you get the pads on and you get closer to football, I would hope some of those issues can kind of dissolve.
Yeah, I agree. I'll tell you one thing I've thought about too, because there's all sorts of points of view on how this whole process has had to go behind the scenes, at least so far, where like Boo saying that he wanted, the rumor started churning in the other direction late last week saying, no, Boo wants to be here. He's going back and saying that. I just wonder where it starts. Does it start with Heupel? Does it start with the, whatever he's calling it, the Council of Elders, or whatever it is he calls with Kitzelman and Josephs and those guys? I wonder if he has to start there with those players and then comes to Josh, or does he start with Josh and then Josh is like, hey, okay, that's interesting, but you got to go clear it with your teammates first.
It's a good point. I feel like it's a lot of I don't know if it's a one or the other type of thing. I almost just think it's like, hey, you got to go out there and you almost got to address them all as one type of thing. Some big team meeting where it's the coaches are addressing the whole team, and then at the start of it, maybe the night before or something, Boo kind of drops a line to one of the coaches or something and says like, hey, can I get up in front of the team and kind of apologize for what's happened over the last week or so? And maybe that gets addressed kind of at the start of it. I don't know, but you just hope he can kind of have the awareness now to say, you know what, I messed up here in the last week or so, and I know that that's kind of rubbed a lot of my teammates the wrong way, but I'm still here for the right reasons, and I want to get to work and be able to help this team win some football games. And I'm sure that's not going to go over well with every person in that locker room, but if you can just show back up, make sure that you're on time for everything, go to your meetings, be a hard worker in practice, go out there, make plays on the field. I think some of this stuff will kind of dissolve as we get into the season.
Yeah, I mean,
how many strikes do you think he's on right now?
I think he's had. I think
because this is numerous meetings we're talking about. He's missing one. Should be one strike.
I think I'm kind of in my mind, at least. I'm just kind of wrapping up the whole.
Because I feel like you guys are being too kind on him. Like, he's done enough to get these guys to want to whoop his, what.
Well, no. Here's the other thing too. Yes, there's been talk of that, and we talked about
the whole agent thing.
Yeah, and we talked about this on Friday. Yeah, his poor ex-agent, man, just was like
left in the dark.
Yeah,
with no communication.
I think I represent this guy.
Yeah, what a mess.
Nobody can find him. I mean, it's crazy.
The other thing that's out there, again, could be scuttle, could be scoop. We don't know. It's all we got right now. There's been the talk of the confrontation that happened, which might have gotten a little physical, may or may not have. But then also there's talk. This is why I think this thing is not a done deal. You know what I mean? It feels like indicators are trending towards maybe it's going to work itself out. But I've even heard that there were members of the coaching staff who were like, I'm not sure I'm in on this guy, namely the ones
that's not good.
Yeah. Namely the ones who coach him the most.
Yes.
On the defensive side. So, and then that puts Josh, that just further exacerbates how tough.
It sounds awful over there is what it does.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not messing with this. I'm just not.
What
do
you mean?
I've been out.
Oh,
you can't do this stuff.
Okay, but if you hear,
I don't care how good you are, you can't do this.
Okay,
that's what kind of teammate are you right now?
But if Josh tomorrow says we've worked it out, can you move on as a fan?
It'd be tough. It'd be real tough.
Yeah,
because I don't think it's a Heupel decision. I think it's going to be these players that are ultimately going to be like, we don't want them on the team. And Heupel's going to be like, okay, there it is.
What if they do?
I don't know. My team.
I'm telling you, this is you want to talk about testing Josh Heupel. This is it. Because I think you're right. I think there's players, and it does, again, potentially sounds like some even coaches are like, man, I'm not sure it's worth it all. Because we're probably going to be going through this again 9 months from now. I don't know. It's certainly going to be interesting. One other takeaway before we hit a break and get joined by Ryan Shumpert. It'll be interesting to get his thoughts on all this. But did you see the picture on socials yesterday that they posted? Maybe it was Saturday of Joey Aguilar in uniform.
I did.
Kind of fired me up, man.
Yeah.
Looks like a football player, man.
Yes, sir.
Looks like he can absorb a hit or two because he's probably going to. But
is that a shot at our O-line, Bob?
Well, no, I'm just saying maybe it is. But I just felt like, all right.
6 fits him well.
Yeah. If that's our guy, then I can get behind it until he starts throwing picks everywhere. And then I'll be crying the blues and saying, get off the field. But no, he looks, like I said, man, Joey football looks like a football player. Let's see what can happen, man. Maybe Josh can work some magic there. He's done it before. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we return, we're going to continue this conversation, but we'll add a voice to it, and that's Ryan Shumpert from Rocky Top Insider. Ryan will, I guarantee you, he's got some thoughts heading into Josh Heupel's remarks tomorrow and practice on Wednesday. He also just put out a piece on RockyTopInsider.com about his thoughts after a couple weeks of basketball summer practice and some things he's also hearing behind the scenes in terms of players that are ascending. Maybe one or two that might surprise you a little bit. So we'll talk about all that when we return with Ryan. Stick around. We'll be right back. It's Under Review on Fan Run Radio.
Citizens National Bank.
We make it easy to save money. Get access to thousands of discounts on shopping, dining, and travel with the CNB Plus Perks account. It's a powerful new way to save money with roadside assistance, cell phone protection, identity theft protection, and credit monitoring. Banking at CNB has its perks. Call or stop by a branch for more details.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Sick of Googling the best bets for tonight and coming up short? Tap into the slate presented by VIP Play, East Tennessee's only on-air gambling show. I'm William Pattison, and every weekday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm giving you sharp analysis, trends, and picks for college football, the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. If it's on the books, we've got you covered. It's the slate presented by VIP Play, weekdays at 6 on Fan Run Radio.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Back to the show. Time to continue the conversation on Tennessee football camp commencing, maybe a little basketball too, but get another more credible than us voice into the conversation. It's Monday, so it's time to read and react. Our guy Ryan Shumpert with Rocky Top Insider joins the program. Ryan, thanks for hopping on. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We are good. Now, when we were texting yesterday, were you were you back home this weekend or?
Yes, I was back home for the last kind of free weekend before we get fall camp going, and I don't know, maybe make it back home for an open date or something like that. But besides that, probably won't be again until at least Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas.
Yeah, it's about to get crazy for you guys, pretty much everybody, but it's hopefully good kind of crazy. So. That's all good. So we were talking before you joined the show about a little bit of calm before the storm right now, right? I mean, we know camp begins in earnest as far as players on the field practicing and whatnot on Wednesday. Josh going to be making remarks tomorrow to the media. Let's start there because obviously the whole scenario with Boo Carter continues to loom large, and there's back and forth, in terms of the scuttle on what we think could happen there. One question I have for you, given your experience doing all this stuff, because we were talking about it, it's like, as far as if you're Josh Heupel tomorrow, do you just open up with that topic. I know you talk about nobody's bigger than the power T, but at the same time, that's going to be an inevitable question. But I'm just thinking from a style perspective for him, do you think he just goes out and tackles this thing head on right off the top?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would wager that he'll wait to be asked about it. I get where you're coming from with just going ahead and addressing it because you know it's going to get asked. But it's going to get asked anyway. He can address it, but there's going to be follow-up questions. And look, at the end of the day, Boo Carter's a good player, has a chance to help Tennessee a lot this year. Boo Carter's not Nico Yamaliava. This pales in comparison as a situation to the Nico one. So if I was Heupel, I would just wait to be asked about it. But again, we're talking about semantics here, and it's not like there's a massive difference either way.
Ryan, as it comes to just kind of getting closer to fall camp and projecting guys on this roster, is there a returning maybe upperclassman guy that has been maybe a rotational piece kind of in the past that you feel like is going to have a much bigger role this year that you're really excited to kind of see break out on the scene and potentially kind of become a star on this team, either side of the ball?
Yeah, I think there's a handful that Tennessee needs to do that at least. On the offensive side, there's no shortage of them. You got Miles. I was actually thinking about this earlier today. You have Miles Kitselman. There's not really another proven player on the offensive side of the ball. At least it's proven it at Tennessee. Wendell Moe is a really good player at Arizona. I think Lance Hurd's a guy I would on the offensive side of the ball. I think there's a chance for Tennessee's offensive line to be better than it was last year and be a pretty good offensive line, but I don't think that's the case unless Lance Hurd takes a big step and plays like the level of recruit that he was, and a guy that could be a potential top couple round pick in the NFL draft next spring if he doesn't. And then defensively, I would just go on the defensive line. Look, I think there's a lot of trust for Rodney Gardner and Coach Chop's groups there. I think everybody, we haven't been penciling that as a question mark just because of how proven those guys have been. And even back to the early years of Josh Heupel when Tennessee's defense wasn't very good, those groups were at least pretty good. But there's a lot of production Tennessee has to replace. So how does Tennessee get pressure off the edge? I think it's a big question. We know Josh Josephs will have a role there. Can he take a step forward? He was a good player last year, but I wouldn't call him a star. Can he turn into a star? And then can a Caleb Herring or Jordan Ross develop as a complementary second piece, a guy that's going to be in some third down packages coming off the edge? And then in the interior defensive line, I think that's like a sneaky position where Tennessee doesn't really have a whole lot of depth and, really lost 3 of their top 4 guys there from a year ago. So David Hobbs is the one that I would really circle as this guy is talented. This guy was a former 5-star. We've seen him flash at times last year. Can he take a big step and be a high-level interior defensive lineman in the SEC? And look, Jackson Moy could do that too. But I think Hobbs is the one for me there's a little bit more intrigue around. So there's really no shortage of those guys, I think, on Tennessee's roster because there are a lot of players like that. A lot of guys that have played meaningful snaps for Tennessee and been solid players that have not been great players. And if Tennessee is going to reach the college football playoff again, surprise some people this fall, a lot of those guys have to turn into, if not stars, really high-level SEC players who are really productive.
We're joined by Ryan Shumpert with Rocky Top Insider talking about the kickoff of Vols camp. Was it my understanding, and maybe you know this, maybe you don't, that was there the team kind of convened last night, maybe for kind of a meetup? I'm not sure it's anything too formal, but the whole concept where it's kind of like checking in at, getting in on campus and all that stuff. Is that how you understood it?
I don't know that, to be honest with you. That would make sense just from a timeline standpoint with everything. If I'm not mistaken, I know they had last weekend or maybe sometime last week off. So I'm sure they want to get everybody back for this week and the start of things. So I don't know that for sure, but that would make sense. And I know there typically is that type of meeting at the start of fall camp, and this the start of would be the same type of situation after Christmas as you start the new season. in January. So I don't know that for sure, but
yeah,
that would be plausible. And that will happen at some point, whether it was last night or not.
Talking about obviously the players in the here and now, we've talked about that a little bit. You guys also put a piece up on the site about the 5 primary targets that are still out there, right? And and then I just saw this latest one on. I'm not sure how his first name's pronounced, but it's the 5-star quarterback class of 27. Is it Jace or JC Johnson? We obviously have our eyes on still some big targets. I guess my question is, some of those we're going to be hearing more in the next couple of weeks, but how's that effort from your perspective? How does that effort continue on when the team itself is going to have to be digging in on getting ready for the opener against Syracuse?
Yeah, I don't think it changes a ton, especially because it's not like any of these players are going that are deciding or going on visits. So
yeah,
I think it's just an additional workload that the assistant coaches and specifically I think those position coaches have to do to be checking in with those guys and being persistent. I mean, I feel like that was in can't remember if it was Steve Wiltfong or Chad Simmons' report on the Darius Gray recruitment to Tennessee. Has been pushing really hard and is kind of, I think, has largely been viewed as the third option there. But he's saying not to rule Tennessee out yet. So I think it's nothing too crazy, but just having to stay consistent and stay persistent with your efforts.
Bill Conley had some interesting comments saying that he feels like this year's Tennessee team could end up with the best defense of the Josh Heupel era as well as the worst offense in the Josh Heupel era. Do you necessarily agree with those statements, or do you still feel like something's going to kind of fall somewhere in the middle of kind of where Bill Conley kind of nets that one out?
Yeah, I mean, it's I think certainly possible on both sides. Like I think it will definitely be one of the 2 probably best defenses and at least one of the 3 worst offenses. I mean, the last 2 years, it's not like they were great. They could feasibly be better than both of those years. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I would just Sharpie that in, and I think that's for sure going to be the case, but I definitely think it's possible. I think it's the most talented defense. Now, new Carter situation, what does Jermon McCoy working back from injury look like? Some of those question marks we talked about, pass rusher. A number of those boxes need to be checked for Tennessee's defense to be better than it was last year, I think. And then on the offensive end, I mentioned it a second ago, to me, really the only known on the offense is a tight end, a 5th-year tight end who's a good player, but it's not like he's he's not Brock Bowers or anything like that. And I think the run game will be solid, but who's going to be the main back, what that rotation looks like, there's still question marks about that. So Tennessee could, again, the passing has been bad the last 2 years. Tennessee's offense, for as low as I am on the receiver situation and not overly high on the quarterback situation, it's not like they have to do a ton to be similar in those areas to what they were the last 2 years. So there's obviously reasons to believe it will be the worst offense, but I don't think it's necessarily a guarantee. They could surprise just a little bit and be marginally better on the offensive end than they were the last 2 years.
Let's talk a little basketball, because I'm struck by this summer how much activity is going on with basketball when you think about the recruiting aspect of it. And then also we have all the new players, and we've been getting a pretty clear view, we think, of what to expect from that team. And it seems like it's got a chance to be really exciting. At the same time, you dropped a piece on RockyTopInsider.com this morning that I found interesting. One of the things that has come up, and you mentioned it, and I even mentioned it when we talked with Coach Barnes a couple weeks back, was because we've been hearing it as well, is the prospect of Nate Ament maybe operating at the 2 from time to time. Sounds like you feel that there's a possibility for that there, because this guy's obviously super skilled.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of those things where outside of situationally in some certain matchups, you probably don't want to see it, because if you're having to see Nate Ament at the 2, it probably means those options at the 2 guard spot, which is the biggest question mark on the team, aren't coming to fruition the way you want. But at the same time, I think Nate Ament is very capable of playing the two. Like, I don't think it's a stretch for him. And if one of those other front court options, probably Cade Phillips, can become consistent enough shooting the basketball, playing on the perimeter at the three, I think it's really plausible. And it is a very, I think, exciting lineup standpoint from just the amount of size. I mean, we watched him one day in practice working on a little half-court 1-3-1 with Nate Ament at the two. And it's just, there is so much length there that I think it can create all sorts of problems for teams offensively. And then just from the rebounding standpoint, it would be, I think, a pretty dominant rebounding aspect. And that's something I mentioned in the piece, too, that I think Tennessee's going to be really good on the boards again this year. Probably, I would wager even better than they were last year. So it's not something I necessarily would love to see a ton of, because I'm not sure I love the way that, even though Nate Ament's fully capable of playing at the two, and I think is more of a two guard than he is a four guy, which I would not have said when Tennessee signed him or the start of the summer. I don't necessarily love what that would mean about Tennessee's option as a two guard, but I do think certain matchups, certain situations, throwing wrinkles in games, it's something you can see. And just with the way Tennessee's roster stands, unless there's some injuries, I just don't think we're going to see Nate Ament play at the four much, even though he has the size that makes him capable of doing that.
I want to touch on the way too early 2026 baseball roster that you kind of put together there, Ryan, and a guy that you got over there in the JUCO ranks in Tyler Myatt that is now up in the Cape Cod League playing a little bit to finish off his summer. Talk about just the projectability of him. I know that you don't exactly have him as one of the starters right now, but in contention to kind of to start at a bunch of different places around the field. Do you feel like that's a guy that kind of, once you get into the mix and you get him kind of into the strength program with Coach Q and some things kind of go his way, is that a guy that you feel like could maybe take a designated hitter spot on this roster?
Certainly, I think, and he's maybe the most intriguing guy. And look, I maybe even felt a little bit of instant regret not having him on there, because I think I published that before he started playing in the Cape Cod League, and he is immediately matched in the best college summer league with wood bats. And I think there's always, even as good as Tyler Myatt was in junior college, there's always, for me, a little bit of a hesitancy for a guy putting up big numbers. And to see him do what he's done early in the Cape Cod League, or at least in a limited amount of time in the Cape Cod League, is really impressive. So to me, I think there's the question marks, where does he play? Because I like Blaine Brown's bat a ton too, the transfer from Rice. And I just think with Reese Chapman back, with Henry Ford in the fold, and the fact that Tennessee wants to use Blaine Brown on the mound too, I think DH makes the most sense for him because it gives him some flexibility there with how they use him from a pitching standpoint. So it doesn't mean Myatt couldn't beat him out for that spot. Does Myatt become a feasible defensive option at second base? I think that's the biggest hole on this roster right now. Or, I'm not even sure I'd go as far as saying hole, but there's not as many proven options at the second base spot. So that's one where I think you're talking perfect world. What does it look like? I think it's Tyler Myatt improving enough defensively and being reliable enough defensively to be in the lineup at second base with his bat, and then that would allow Blaine Brown to also be in there. But, as I said in that story, it's extremely early. Competition is what this Tennessee baseball program is built on, and all that stuff will begin to work itself out when they take the field for fall practice.
All right, one more question for you, and this one applies. Sam can pipe in on this one too. You could both answer it collectively. How saddened are you by the loss of Traylon Burks?
Yeah, I mean, you can't help but just laugh about it. I mean, you feel bad for the guy, but it was very, very Traylon Burks. And Sam, I'll get your take on this too. I'm sure NFL franchises have had stretches of 3 first-round picks that were like equally as bad to the stretch the Titans have had. But I would wager no NFL franchise has had a stretch of first-round picks who have played less snaps for that team than Isaiah Wilson, Caleb Farley, Traylon Burks. Mm-hmm. Isaiah Wilson played 1. Caleb Farley, was basically always injured for like the 2 years that he kind of played. And then Traylon Burks is, he stayed a little bit more healthy than those guys, but he's entering his 4th year and has obviously not been very good and has missed a lot of time with injury. And now it looks like we'll probably miss the entirety of his 4th year with injury. I'd be hard pressed, I think, to find another NFL franchise that's had that type of stretch first round picks.
I don't think I've ever seen a 3-year, to your point, a 3-year stretch of first round picks that have just completely taken a franchise and just kind of derailed from where they were. I mean, we went from contending team, not only in like the AFC, but all of the NFL to just bottom of the barrel in a 3-year stretch very quickly.
Well, you look at it too. They let Jack Conklin walk to draft Isaiah Wilson.
Yep.
Not that Adoree Jackson was even great for the Titans, but he was probably honestly better with the Giants when he left. That's who they let walk to get Caleb Farley, and then obviously everybody knows the A.J. Brown, Treylon Burks situation, which is just an all-timer. So they didn't want to pay 3 of those guys, and I really don't blame them on the Adoree Jackson one at all. It's not like he was that great, but Conklin and A.J. Brown were certainly very, very high-level players for the Titans, and replaced them with guys that have done absolutely nothing in the NFL.
Ryan, as always, appreciate you hopping on with us, kicking off the week. It's about to get very busy for you. But follow this guy at @Shump, SCHUMP00 on X, also at Rocky Top Insider. What do you know what time practice is on Wednesday, like where you're allowed to be in there?
I believe 8:50 is the approximate start time. That's always give or take a little bit. And I actually haven't looked at the practice periods. Usually at least one of the first 2 days, we get to watch like 8 or 10 periods instead of our usual 3. Though I would need to double check to see which one of those days it is. It seems to rotate whether it's the first day or the second day.
Well, we'll be checking it out. As always, appreciate you spending time with us, and look forward to another football season and running it back, and hope you have a good week and a good start to practice.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to y'all next week.
See you, Ryan.
Almost here.
Almost here, baby.
Almost. Forgot to ask him what he thought about Joey Aguilar, his look.
Mm.
Ryan doesn't get into that stuff, though. He'd probably be like, I don't know. Looks like Joey Aguilar. Probably give me some sort of answer like that. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we return, we'll kick off hour 2 with a little kind of tied into it a little bit. Sam mentioned it. Bill Connolly put out another edition of SEC projections. He did some a while back. This one is much more current, done in the last couple of days. Kind of interesting where he nets Tennessee out in certain areas. In some ways, it doesn't look promising, and then in other ways, I don't know, looks like we could be in the upper tier conversation, not the top 4 for sure, but kind of in that upper half to be sure. So we'll talk about that, break it down a little bit when we kick off hour 2. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. You're listening to Under Review on Fan Run Radio.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess. But isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah. They specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance, Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
White Claw is taking hard seltzer to new heights with White Claw Surge. At 8% alcohol, White Claw Surge is a stronger wave of refreshment that doesn't compromise on taste. Available in 4 bold waves of flavor like ripe blackberry, citrusy blood orange, zesty natural lime, and tart cranberry. Check out your favorite retailer in-store and online for the White Claw Surge Variety 12-pack and 16-ounce single-serve cans. White Claw Surge. Please drink responsibly.
Your tax refund belongs to you, not an identity thief. Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft last year. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. They monitor and alert you to identity threats you'd miss on your own, even if you're careful with your personal information. And if you do become a victim of tax-related identity fraud, LifeLock has U.S.-based restoration specialists ready to help solve your identity theft issue. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Let LifeLock help protect your financial info, so all you have to worry about is what you do with your tax refund. Go to LifeLock.com, save up to 25% off your first year. The promo code is HERD, promo code HERD, to save up to 25% off your first year. LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Hour 2 of Under Review starts now.
Claw Hard Seltzer Studios at Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio. It's Under Review. You got Bob and Sam and Brett and Jake here on a Monday, making our way through, kicking off the week. Appreciate you joining us. Phone lines are open. You can hop on and let us know what's on your mind. Area code 865-966-3435. That's 966-3435. You can also hit us up on X at Fox Sports Knox. Seeing a couple comments on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Fan Run TV. You can weigh in on stuff there too. So, Bill Connolly, somebody we've referred to in the past. This guy kind of makes it a full-time endeavor, previewing college football conferences. And I think some of it's pretty good stuff. Some of it, I'd say not all of it's prescriptive. He uses his SP Plus metrics to kind of put things in place. And he put out a new one at the end of the week for the SEC in particular. He's been kind of cruising through all the other conferences, and now we're in the SEC. And, as he put it here, with the Big Ten's Penn State and Ohio State, Notre Dame, and the ACC's Clemson all looking at potential top 5 hype, there's a decent chance that the SEC's title-free run reaches 3 years. But try to hold back your sympathy tears. The league still has at least 3 of the most talented teams in the nation and the largest selection of upper middle class teams with dreams of 10-2 records and playoff at large bids. Great quarterbacks. And he had to mention by name. It also has it has Diego Dam Pavia. League never lacks for talents, grievances, or storylines. And don't see why that would change in 2025. One of the things that I did notice was he had a thing called the continuity table, which looks at each team's returning production levels on offense, on defense, and overall. And he talks about it. He says, I think you can even see it on fanrunradio.com. I think they've put something up there as well, that Tennessee may be lined up to have the worst offense in the Josh Heupel era at Tennessee. And part of that is, if you look at the percentage of returning offensive players, it is the lowest in the SEC, 39% returning on offense. Meanwhile, 63% returning on defense. a total of 127 starts returning, which you put that in comparison to some of these other schools like Texas A&M and Oklahoma, they're considerably further ahead. Florida, 172, A&M, 192. For whatever that's worth, it does stand to reason that Tennessee's offense will be under the microscope this season. We've been saying this all along, Sam. This will be testing Josh Heupel's coaching acumen mightily.
And I think you can take maybe the glass half full or the glass half empty approach with this, because looking at the returning production and some of the other teams kind of on here, you kind of expect, the Georgias of the world and Texas and teams like that to be able to reload offensively, but you still feel like maybe you're a little bit further away in terms of just being able to instantly reload. But I also, and I think that's kind of a little bit of the glass half empty approach, is like, man, we gotta reload, and maybe we're not littered with all of the 5-star blue chip talent that some of these other schools are. But I think at the same time, you can also say last year was pretty much the worst offense of the Josh Heupel era. So
yeah,
39% of those guys coming back. You don't have a lot of the guys that, weren't exactly executing that offense at its highest level coming back. So you've got a chance to kind of maybe, wipe the slate clean a little bit and get some new guys into that system. And I don't know. I do think from a top line perspective, it's like, hey, we got to replace Dylan Sampson. How easy is that going to be? Personally, I'm not all that worried about it, because the running back by committee stuff to me is just always been a success under Josh Heupel. But I also think, hey, man, like, offensive line was kind of a real struggle last year in terms of getting Nico acclimated and getting him kind of used to competition. If Lance Hurd is healthy and kind of plays like he did at the back half of the season where he was much better, David Sanders proves to be the 5-star guy that he is, I think you have a really solid offensive line. And you've got, either if you want to go Satterwhite at center and that's kind of new blood in there, that's fine with me. Or maybe you say, hey, let's put Sam Pendleton, a guy that has experience playing center at Notre Dame. Let's put him in there. We know what we've got with Wendell Moe, and then you kind of just rely on one of your other young guards to develop. I think that offensive line looks really good. And in turn, I think you can maybe see a little bit more of a back to the 2021 and 2022 passing attack if you've got a little bit more protection up front, and Joey Aguilar can kind of, rein in the gunslinger mentality. I know on paper was so fun to project last year with a 5-star quarterback and everything, but our best offenses in the Josh Heupel era have come with a quarterback in Hendon Hooker that didn't have a whole lot of hype surrounding him coming in and didn't have a whole lot of expectations about what he was going to do. So I come in with a lot of cautious optimism, honestly, with kind of the returning production being so low on the offensive side.
So if all that clicks with the offensive line, Joey can play within himself. Who do we think receiver-wise? Who do you think is the top of the heap right now in the receiving core? Is it Brazel? Is it Staley? I'm a little torn on this one.
I would hope it's Mike Matthews. I mean, to me, that if you want to kind of hit your ceiling the way that you need to, I think you need your 5-star receiver talent to go out there and be a 5-star guy. So to me, I'm looking at Mike Matthews to be that standout guy. I would like it to be Chris Brazel just because he is a guy that has some experience in the system. But I also think Mike Matthews is a guy that has experience in the system. It just might not be getting on the field as much as Brazel has been able to in the past. And we have seen some kind of year-to-year jumps from wide receivers in this system, and they get a little bit more comfortable. So I would hope that it's either Brazel or Mike Matthews. But to me, I kind of look at Mike Matthews as the guy that kind of needs to really emerge as that clear number one. I think Brazel's more of a really strong 2 than he is a lead 1.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great? Because I just keep viewing Matthews. I love Matthews. I just keep viewing him as kind of a home run hitter type guy, like a playmaker. But my point is, wouldn't it be great if we could have a year removed, but he turns in, like, why can't he be a guy like a Ryan Williams at Bama or something like that? Right. I mean, and he had Milroe getting him the ball, who wasn't exactly a super polished quarterback, right, too. So Matthews has that kind of talent. He's not 17 or 18, like the announcers had to insist on repeatedly telling us. But the guy can play. So I'm with you. I think that could be a total game changer if he can turn in a season where he is just absolutely at an elite level. That just changes the whole complexion of things for me.
100%.
Continuing on with Connolly's projections, he then factors in his SP Plus projections, which we've talked about in the past. It's a combination of a lot of things, and I'm not going to bog you down with all of the details on it because it makes your head hurt a little bit. But it is a going currency in measuring college football talent. People follow it, guys like us. His projections, when you base it on what he projects are average wins over the course of the entire season, not just in conference, but the entire season, and his SP Plus metrics, he's got at the top Alabama. Well, tied for the top in terms of average wins at 9.8 with Georgia, but their SP Plus is at 27.9. He's got them ranked fifth offensively and fifth defensively. Georgia is second at 26.9, 9.8 wins. Texas third at 26.4, 9.6 wins. None of that's a surprise. Those are the top three we've been talking about constantly when we talk about the SEC. Then at fourth, he's got LSU with, this is interesting. Their SP Plus rating is 22.1, which puts them at number 4. His projected average wins for them is 8.5, and maybe due largely in part to they have, by his measure, the 9th toughest schedule. Ole Miss is number 5, 19.8 SP Plus, but their average win projection is higher, 8.9, and it stands to reason because strength of schedule he has for them is 23rd. Tennessee is in 6th. Average win projection, 8.8. So essentially right around 9 wins, which, again, we've talked about that. We would take that. And that's assuming that we would be, I guess, Sam, losing to Georgia, losing to Alabama, and then maybe one of the two between Oklahoma and Florida. Is that your takeaway?
That's what I would guess it nets out at, unless he's just a genius in this model and he can project which stinker SEC team we're going to lose to.
Yeah. Strength of schedule rank, and this is nationally, by the way. He's got Tennessee with the second easiest schedule in the SEC, behind Missouri. We've talked about Missouri's schedule. It is so light by comparison. That, I guess, allows Tennessee to be in the conversation to win 9 games. Puts us ahead of some of the teams that were ahead of us in the SEC Media Days preseason conference rankings, ahead of Florida, ahead of Texas A&M, ahead of South Carolina. Because if you recall, here we're 6th. I think in the SEC Media Days rankings, the media put us at, I think, 9th, just ahead of Oklahoma. Which, by the way, Oklahoma, and we've talked about this too, their strength of schedule rank is number 1, hardest in the country, and they have a tough schedule. I don't know. When you look at all of this, I feel like, and then conference wins, that's what it comes back to as well. So conference wins, they've got Tennessee right at 5 conference wins, which again would lead you to believe we're gonna beat the ones that were picked for the bottom 4. Mississippi State, Kentucky, Vandy, Arkansas, and then get 1 against Oklahoma or Florida. But what if we get both?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Be great. I think this is a projection, too, that, like, looking at it, he's got Tennessee netted out as the number 34 offense. Like, you know, how high do you think you could see Tennessee climb in that rankings if you hit your ceiling? You know, I mean, I think there's so much talk about just like, you know, how bad is Tennessee's offense going to be? Is that going to be the thing that holds them back? But like,
right.
I don't feel like there's, and I'm not saying this is just like a nobody's talking about him type of thing. I don't think there's many people that are maybe taking the flip side of the coin of saying, man, what if Tennessee's offense gets back to a little bit more normal and creeps into the top 25, top 20-ish range with this defense that you're already looking at this year. Like we talked all last year about how, like, man, this offense could be so much better if you just hit on a couple of those. And his little projection here of Tennessee kind of talks about how he maybe feels like the offense has been figured out a little bit, but I think that's due in part to having kind of back-to-back quarterbacks that haven't exactly been able to connect on some of those deep balls and stuff like that. Like, how far up could you see Tennessee's offense really go in this ranking if Joey Aguilar does turn into a guy that can connect on some of those deep balls and keep the defenses guessing and kind of keep them on their toes?
It's a great point. I think that and I'm guilty of it too. We keep kind of putting Aguilar's stats that he had last year at App State in the prism of, okay, he's going to get just mauled in the SEC. He didn't have any protection at App State. It's been pretty well chronicled. So even a rebuilt offensive line here, which, Sam, you were talking about earlier, if things click the right way, it could be actually a strength for us.
Sure.
So if he's got that kind of time, you got that kind of coach in Josh Heupel who kind of controls that chaos a little bit and keeps players playing within themselves. I don't know. Then the question segues into, is it one of those deals again like last year? We won 10 regular season games, got to the college football playoffs, but it wasn't necessarily the most entertaining football to watch. Is it another year like that? But but again, it's chicken or the egg. It's like, do you want to win or not? You know?
Right. And I do think that's what makes this year super interesting. It's like we've talked about how the ceiling and the floor doesn't feel all that far off, but how much does that just change? You know, if you've got, like we said, is a exciting, fun offense, 8-win season more intriguing to you than just a 9-win season of kind of being a little bit more elementary like you've been in the last season or two and just kind of grinding your way out to wins? Because I think it's a testament to Josh Heupel, I think, evolving as a coach, being able to win a lot of those one-score games and stuff like that last year and being able to grind it out without being able to rely on that offense that he's always known for. Is that something that, you know, kind of starts to become a concern after it becomes not much of just it becomes more of a trend and not just kind of an anomaly? It's like, oh wait, this is 3 straight years of this offense not being great. Does that, you know, does that take over the conversation more than just like, hey, wow, Josh Heupel won nine games with a quarterback that was only able to learn his offense for 2 months type of thing? I do think it's going to be very interesting just how entertainment factor could potentially be a big driving force of kind of the talking points of this Tennessee team this year when the floor and ceiling don't feel all that much different.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, to summarize what Connolly did here, he then categorized teams in 3 brackets. But the first bracket was, he called them conference title, and then in parentheses said, and therefore college football playoff contenders. He put the top 6 teams in there. That includes Tennessee. And I mean, feels kind of like crazy talk here to even say if things broke the right way. Again, a 10-2 season, even with 2 conference losses, it depends, man. As tough as this conference is, there could be enough cannibalization that if Tennessee could take care of business and maybe even get lucky, dare I say, steal a game, you know, between one of those big 2 that they play in Georgia and Alabama, then I don't know, man. Feels like there's a lot of water in front of that, but it was interesting seeing us in that category. And I've seen some other articles that have been saying y'all are sleeping on Tennessee. It's like some of these writers have more faith in Josh Heupel than maybe we do.
Yeah,
you know, sometimes. So I don't know. The defense is going to be super strong. There's no question about that. The metrics bear it out, and they're returning a lot of players. They're a lot more than we are on offense. It's really going to come down to what can the offense do. If they're mistake prone, we're in a hell of a lot of trouble. But if they are just clean and maybe not, you know, taking the top off of everything, but if they're clean and can generate just good offense, maybe not top 5 offense nationally, but top 10 to 15 offense, this could be a different story.
Yeah.
We shall see. We shall see. All right, let's take a break. When we return, We're going to do a little believe it, don't believe it. And it's really tied into some of the things we talked about a little bit earlier in the show, and that is about the locker room at Tennessee, given current events, what's been going on with Boo Carter, what went on in the past with Nico Iamaleava. We'll have a believe it, don't believe it tied to that. We'll be joined by Russell Smith, host of The Drive. He'll be calling in. He'll have some perspective, I'm sure, too. We'll be right back. Quick timeout, and then we'll move on with another segment of Under Review. See you in a few. You're listening to Fan Run Radio.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Are you ready to show off that confident, radiant smile you've always dreamed of? Well, here at Knoxville Smiles, we're ready to turn your dream into a reality. At Knoxville Smiles, we're more than just a dental practice. We're your partners in achieving optimum oral health. From routine cleanings and checkups to advanced cosmetics and restorative procedures, we offer a wide range of services in an environment that makes every visit a positive and comfortable experience. At Knoxville Smiles, it's about more than just treatments. We're focused on creating a welcoming environment where you feel like family. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed with your comfort in mind, and our friendly staff is always ready to address your questions and concerns. Don't wait any longer to achieve a beautiful smile you deserve. Schedule your appointment at Knoxville Smiles today and take that first step towards a healthier, happier you. Call us at 865-539-1776 to book your appointment today, or just visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
Welcome back. Under Review carries on a Monday. Talking Tennessee football. Just got done talking about how Bill Connolly and the SP Plus metric sizes things up for the Vols. We talked in hour one about what to expect as we head into fall camp with Josh Heupel talking to the media tomorrow. What's it all mean with our potential wayward Vol, one Boo Carter, all those things. But we'll continue this conversation with a little believe it, don't believe it coming up right now. We're fortunate to be joined by local radio icon Russell Smith, host of The Drive. You can hear him weekdays, 3 p.m. right here on Fan Run Radio. Russell, thanks for hopping on for a few minutes, bud. How are you?
Doing well, boys. Nice quiet weekend over here at Stately Smith Manor, and ready to jump back into it, get ready for the grind leading up to football season.
How about those Braves, Russell? The whole opening day starting lineup on IL. That's just something you can't make up.
Thanks for bringing that up, Sam. Really appreciate that. Count on you to lighten the mood, and bring a little positivity to the conversation. Don't really know why that's apropos of anything. I thought Bob said we were talking about college football.
Well, I saw your tweet pop up on my timeline this morning. That's what made me laugh about it.
It's not great times to be a Braves fan. Kind of tuned out, quite frankly, at this point. It's a whole nother conversation, but
it's football.
They're bad, but certainly bad luck has been a big part of that.
Yeah, well,
How about that game at Bristol this weekend, baby? Anybody want to go sit out there and
there we go.
bake in the 105-degree Upper East Tennessee weather?
It looks phenomenal out there. I will say that. The pictures and everything. That doesn't mean I want to be a part of it, but yeah, I mean, I think that is not going to be high on my list, honestly.
Yeah, I might take a little bit of that one in from the couch.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, we appreciate you hopping on with us. We've been, as you can imagine, we've been spending the morning talking about what is going on with our Vols, with football camp starting on Wednesday. Josh Heupel talking tomorrow. And Boo Carter, if you're paying attention to the scuttle on social media and some of the insiders, there's word that it may be working itself out, but I'll believe it when we get to it. All that to say, got me thinking, and I think this is our believe it, don't believe it, that would be a good conversation for us to have today. And that is, we've heard it a few times, like, oh my God, are we seeing another situation where Josh is, potentially not able to keep up with all the locker room drama and dynamics that are going on in this new era of college football? I think some of it was kind of amplified when we heard Nico Iamaleava talking on Thursday at Big Ten Media Days. He didn't necessarily say anything that was discriminatory towards Tennessee. He towed the line quite well, but it brought back some memories. And then at the same time, coincidentally, the Boo Carter thing is happening. So I think it's natural for some people to think, oh man, what is going on? Can Josh hang on to this? Can he hold the rope on it? I think they're very, very different scenarios, first of all. But before we get to that and get everybody's take on it, I'll put it out there. Believe it, don't believe it, that with the departure of Nico Iamaleava back in April, with what's going on with Boo Carter right now, these are more aberrations than they are what's going to be the norm for a Tennessee locker room culture. Josh Heupel has firm control of things in that locker room still. However he chooses to approach it, he's still in control. Believe it or don't believe it, Russ?
I believe that Josh Heupel is in control. I don't believe that these are aberrations, but I also don't believe that it's just a Tennessee-centric problem. I think you're going to see a lot more of this here in the next couple of years. I think it's coincidental and interesting that Tennessee has been hit with the highest profile one of these situations so far with Nico, and I'm not sure how much the Boo Carter thing really registers on the national radar, but there are some obvious similarities there. I think Josh Heupel, like all football coaches, is learning on the job a little bit, just how to handle this new age where college athletes have so much leverage. I mean, they've gone from having none of the leverage to practically all of it just in the span of a few years. So I think that's a big adjustment period that coaches are having to navigate. And I think Heupel's a smart guy. I think he's going to figure it out. I think he handled the Nico thing well, and I think he's probably handling the Boo thing pretty well right now. There's a lot of pressure on him. There's people say, do what you got to do, keep him on the team. There's people say, just go ahead and cut ties. I think Heupel is going to let it play out, try and arrive at the best outcome for Tennessee. He probably has a pretty good idea of what he's going to do and how this thing is going to play out. And he's not going to tell us. I'd be surprised if he tells us anything tomorrow at the press conference, quite frankly. So I just think that this is a sign of the times, man. And I don't think the CSC and the new rules and anything are going to do a ton to stop it. I think some of this stuff is going to end up in court. And I think as long as you have players making this kind of money and the leverage to basically hold out multiple times a year whenever they want to, I think you're going to see more and more of it across the landscape.
Sam.
Yeah, I think if he didn't have control of the situation, you probably would have seen Nico Iamaleava still playing quarterback for Tennessee, and he would have just kind of bent the knee to his pops and his uncle or everybody that's, in his camp over there. And I think he would have just said, you know what? Yeah, I'll give you $4 million, man. Don't go. Like, I need you to play quarterback for me next year. And I think he would have, I don't think this Boo Carter situation would have been as out there if he did just kind of say, hey, no, like, we've got a standard here and things are going to, there's going to be punishments for certain actions and stuff like that. So to me, I think these are just kind of some of the lumps and the growing pains that you see when you're trying to build overall a really good culture. Like I've been saying, I think there's exceptions that are made just about on every single roster across the country. And I think there's probably 3 or 4 or 5 cases probably in a lot of locker rooms around the country where some guys are a little bit more difficult to deal with. And, maybe some off the field problems for them start blending into on the field problems. And I think you're seeing Josh Heupel really trying to get that corrected as soon as it can. And we still obviously don't really know the status of Boo Carter. And I think it's fair to say that Josh Heupel is going at it in a way that, if he does return to the team, I think Boo Carter is going to have to kind of answer to that and answer to the locker room as well as the coaches. And we've clearly seen him already show the door to a 5-star talent. So I don't think he's just going to, I think to Russell's point, he's thinking through this logically and he's trying to do what's best for the team. You don't just want to let really great talent just leave the building just in the first place. But if you can find a way to kind of mend things with the locker room and relationships with the coaching staff, as well as keep good talent in the building, I think that's what Heupel wants to do, but he's not going to make exceptions just to anyone. So to me, this is a sign that he is, having a really good culture and building a really solid locker room for not only right now, but hopefully for a long time in the future.
I believe it. I think aspects of what both of you have said makes a lot of sense. I used the term, it was an aberration. I think what I was getting at it's more of they're very different circumstances is I guess what I was getting at. And I do think there's going to be more of them. I think this one, just based on some of the scuttle we're hearing and everything else, I think Josh is on the spot here too, because it's almost no win. There's a lot of people who, if he said right now that, look, we've talked with the leadership council and and my coaches and Boo, you're not welcome back. I think some fans will have a come apart because it can create some level of, our team's not as good as it should be. Okay. I think if he decides to, do the whole, this is going to work out, but you do this one more time, kind of like what we do with our kids, then we're moving on. You're going to have a few people who are saying, oh, double standard. I don't think that's quite accurate, but I do think this one is particularly sticky just because of the timeliness of how it's happened and the fact that the whole thing with Nico happened just 3 months ago. So with all that to say, I do believe it, but I do think Josh is in like a very, very tough spot here.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any like slam dunk win on this move. And Russ, the other thing I would say, we talked about this earlier, it just feels to me like we're doing this like for an additional 1-year rental. I find it hard to believe that Boo Carter won't be looking to get out for next season.
Yeah, and I think both parties know that, right? I mean, I think Boo realizes that if he wants to play this year, it's probably going to have to be at Tennessee. I don't think he really wants to be here, and he might not admit that, but I'm guessing he would rather play D1 college football this year than not. So because of the transfer portal and all that stuff, it's going to have to be at Tennessee, and I think he's done after that. And you might say, well, then we shouldn't be a party to that and everything, but again, he's got some leverage here. I think Heupel realizes that. It's like, hey, they've planned a significant portion of their defense around this one really talented player. You've got your other superstar cornerback on the shelf maybe to begin the season. So whether or not we like it, we're kind of at this kid's mercy right now. So if there's a way they can finagle it he can come back for even we know it's a 1-year rental and he comes back for that. No, it's not perfect, but I think you kind of have to take that again. If, as Sam said, he does all the things, checks all the boxes that he's supposed to do before he rejoins the team. You don't want to have a toxic situation in the locker room, obviously, but if he's willing to man up and ride out these next 4 months or whatever with the team, and then we go ahead and turn him loose, then I think that's probably the best case scenario for both parties at this point.
What do you think would happen if we pulled Bear into this conversation? Where would he stand on it?
He would flip-flop, but he would say that he thinks we should keep him, and then he would start pontificating on that. And by the end of his comment, without any of us interjecting, he would come around to the side of we should just go ahead and kick him off the team.
So that's your life.
Nobody can debate Bear as well as he can debate himself. No, I think he honestly did kind of have both opinions on this last week. I think he started out of the, hey, we got to keep him, when the story first broke a week ago, and then towards the middle of the week, and a lot of fans I think kind of rode this roller coaster last week. It was like, well, I don't know, this is seeming like it's more trouble than it's worth. Seems like a bad apple. I think when the story came out that there was a locker room confrontation, that changed a lot of people's minds. And then by the end of the week, when people were, I love this, dissecting Boo's parents' cryptic Facebook posts, people had talked themselves into, oh, he's coming back. It's going to be all good. So I don't know. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I think that there's a lot of people going back and forth on this issue the past couple of days.
Myself, I was there last week when it first happened. I was like, oh man, he's a kid being a kid. It's going to be okay. Then, started hearing the agent stuff and the confrontation stuff. And then by midweek, I was like, I'm out. I don't want him around. And then,
but they sucked you back in.
Yeah. By the end of the weekend, I'm like, okay, okay. I trust in Josh. If they're going to come back and do the whole, hey, that's strike 2, man. Strike 3 is going to be, short and final if it happens. So I don't know.
But it feels like it's like strike 6 or 7.
That's what Brett was saying earlier. Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, the more you hear about it, this is kind of a pattern of behavior and immaturity. But, there's a lot of similarities to great Tennessee teams of the past, in the Johnny Majors, Philip Fulmer era. We had a bunch of knuckleheads on that roster, man. And you just didn't hear about it as much because we didn't have the internet and social media. But, I mean, we had a bunch of, and really good players too, that were some damn fools off the field. And some of them got kicked off, but some of them we just sort of pushed them along and utilized their eligibility and then wished them well. And they went into the NFL, and some had good careers, some didn't. But some would say this is the price of building a championship program. Look at what Kirby Smart and Georgia are dealing with right now. I mean, he's got a halfway house down there masquerading as a locker room, and Georgia fans don't seem to mind.
We've said it so many times, for a guy who seems to have so much of a evident and solid level of control of what's going on the field with that team. Sure doesn't feel that way. And maybe even in the locker room, it's outside the locker room where it all gets sideways for them.
Yeah. That's, I mean, even Barry Switzer is sitting over there going, man, you got to get control of your program, Kirby.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Jimmy Johnson thinks he needs some more discipline.
Right. Last thing, did you see that picture on social media of Joey Aguilar in uniform?
I did. I saw a lot of creepy comments from middle-aged men sort of breaking down his physique.
Yeah, it just looks like he could take a hit. That's all I care about.
Comments about neck muscles, and I believe the word girth was used a couple of times.
Did not see that. That's a little much. But like Sam said, number 6 fits him. That works. I like it.
Yeah, I did see the Baker Mayfield comparison was thrown out too, which, I mean, if he can be half the player Baker was at Oklahoma. Be pleasantly surprised this season.
Maybe you bring that one up with Bear today, what he thinks of that picture of Joey Aguilar.
Putting this down in my notes right now. Excellent suggestion, Bob. Thank you.
Yes. So the drive, 3:00 today. Got anything special going, or is it usually your heavy caller Monday, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I think this is kind of the calm before the storm.
Correct.
So not a ton of controversy out there aside from the Spook Carter situation. So we'll talk about that. One note, we do have our game returning this afternoon. Bob, I know you're familiar with what you're talking about. Game that we stumbled onto about 10 years ago. It's become kind of a summertime favorite for Drive listeners. So always fun, always competitive, always spirited. And we will be debuting that in the 5 p.m. hour today on Fan Run Radio. So be sure to tune in and listen. Should be fun. And maybe even you can call in and play for your chance to win fabulous gifts and prizes.
Well, I was going to say, not that I want to win prizes, but I am intrigued by it. When I listen to it, I'd love to have a shot at it sometime. But, of course, got to let the listeners do it first. But, yeah.
Well, yeah, we're going to, we always have kind of an exhibition to kick things off. So, I mean, if you want to sign up, you want to test your wear against other Fan Run personalities, this is your opportunity, Bob. You available at 5:20 this afternoon?
Today? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sign me up. I could do it.
All right.
There we
Bob
go.
Baskerville representing Under Review.
Plans being
on what
made
you talked about.
live on air. Got to
Very exciting.
Of course, I got to know what the rules of the game are. I don't even know that. So
we kind of make them up as we go along.
That's okay. Sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Unless you get a heavy load of people interested to participate, then that's fine too. But yeah,
There's no backing out now, Bobby. You're locked in.
Oh, okay. I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. All right, Russell, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you hopping on with us, giving us a little bit of time. He is the host of The Drive, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. right here on Fan Run Radio. Always an entertaining show. Russ, thanks again, man. And yeah, sounds like maybe I'll talk to you later.
All right. We'll see you guys.
See you later, Russ.
All right, quick timeout. What have I gotten myself into? It's just trivia on a clock, right?
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll give it a whirl. Not saying I'm going to dominate on it. But.
Yeah, I don't feel like you I don't think you went in there saying like, oh, I'm going to go win the whole thing this summer.
No.
You're just like, yeah, I'd like to play.
Take a shot at
You
it.
You didn't set expectations too high. The bar's not set too high for you.
Perfect. Just the way I like it.
Yeah.
Always under promise, over deliver.
There we go.
That's a mantra.
Great thing to live by
here at Under Review. All right, quick timeout. When we return, more to talk about. Quick timeout though. We'll be back on the other side. It's Under Review on Fan Run Radio.
Streaming worldwide at fanrunradio.com and on the free Fan Run app. This is Big Orange Country's sports talk radio superstation, Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
And here we go. It's William Pattison, and this is your daily invite to Overtime on Fan Run Radio. Weeknights from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm breaking down everything you care about, from the latest Tennessee Volunteers news to bold takes on college football, the NFL, and NBA. If it's happening in the world of sports, I've got an angle on it. You bring the passion, and I'll deliver the truth, the fire, and the facts. It's Overtime with William Pattison, weeknights at 7, only on Fan Run Radio.
Citizen Citizens National Bank.
We make it easy to save money. Get access to thousands of discounts on shopping, dining, and travel with the CNB Plus Perks account. It's a powerful new way to save money with roadside assistance, cell phone protection, identity theft protection, and credit monitoring. Banking at CNB has its perks. Call or stop by a branch for more details.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Knoxville, mark your calendars. Fan Run Night at the ballpark is back. Join us Wednesday, August 6th at Covenant Health Park as the Knoxville Smokies take on Biloxi and we take over the stands. It's all you can eat night, so make sure to bring your appetite. Plus, we're hooking up the fans with exclusive Fan Run swag giveaways you won't want to miss. Come hang with the Fan Run crew, rep your team, and enjoy a summer night of baseball, food, and fun. Fan Run Night, August 6th. Be there.
Hey Knoxville! Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Welcome back. Got a little bit of breaking news.
Oh.
And it is him. Cordero Patterson posts on X, breaking news. Pittsburgh Steelers release old washed up Cordero Patterson on his day off. That's all it says.
Posted by Cordero Patterson himself?
C/P84.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
That's kind of bittersweet to see if he's starting to get released.
To be honest with you, I kind of thought it was already pretty much over for him.
Yeah.
I didn't even think he was still on a roster.
Well, apparently.
Sorry, CP.
Old washed up CP. Yeah, it's him. It's him. That's God, was that guy fun to watch in Tennessee? I mean, he was
electric in this offense.
He was like, okay, yeah, think about that. I mean, we talked about, remember it with Nico, the prince that was promised, all these other things. And he had some moments. But Patterson came in with a ton of hype surrounding him. And I felt by and large, he backed it up, right?
You're saying into college or like the
college?
Pros?
College.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought he was a fantastic player here in college and just a crazy dynamic athlete. The size and speed that a guy like that has is really hard to match. I feel like when you think of maybe some of the best like return men and stuff like that, they're kind of those smaller, shifty guys in that sense. And it's like you haven't seen too many players that are 6'2", like 220 that Cordero Patterson is, where he can just move like an absolute gazelle out on the football field. Yeah, he's a special talent for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if he lands anywhere else, but I think you may be right, Sam. This may be kind of the beginning of the end for CP. So I did want to take a few minutes and talk about scheduling, because Sam brought this up in the break, and it's pretty interesting too, because there's all sorts of points of view. This was from a guy who is the publisher of Peegs.com, which is part of the 247 Sports Network. But to get specific, he covers Indiana and college, Indiana football and college basketball recruiting. He's a former writer for the Indianapolis Star. And somebody put a graphic together called the SEC, air quotes, gauntlet. And it talked about all the SEC teams, at least 12 of them is what I'm seeing, not all 16, and their non-conference opponents. And this is, again, they're talking about what Kurt Signetti was saying at Big Ten Media Days about scheduling, right? And so they put in here, all sorts of like Texas, San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston State, Georgia, Austin P, Marshall and Charlotte, Tennessee, ETSU, UAB, New Mexico State, Auburn, Ball State, South Alabama, Mercer. So this guy was kind of supporting what this graphic said, like, yeah, maybe Cignetti was right after all, which got me a little spun up. So I responded. I don't do this often on X, but I responded and I wrote a list of games: Texas versus Ohio State, Alabama versus Florida State, LSU versus Clemson, South Carolina versus Virginia Tech, Tennessee versus Syracuse, Auburn versus Baylor. And then I wrote, and that's in week 1. Somehow those didn't show up on that worksheet that was drawn up. And then somebody else who's from Indiana wrote, and you still have 3 D2 schools on the schedule. Those games just make it even with the Big Ten conference schedule and means Ohio State is playing 10 Power 4 games like half of the Big Ten does, while SEC cries about playing 8. Still not accurate, because Ohio State, I don't know, I haven't looked at their schedule. They may be playing Purdue, and yeah, technically they're a Power 4 opponent, but they're not. They're horrible. So Sam, you brought this up. I think it's kind of important when we think about Tennessee's schedule. We've been talking all show long about how we're sizing this team up, how we think they can do, how Bill Connolly rated them through the SP Plus metrics. We talked about the schedule very briefly. We've gone through the schedule before. We've said, we get it. It's a favorable schedule. As Connolly wrote, it's the second most beneficial schedule in the SEC besides Missouri. But you were talking about somebody who was comparing it with another season.
Yeah, I don't have I kind of lost the tweet that I was talking to you about during the break, but it was basically just a guy saying how the college football regular season just doesn't exactly hit the same anymore, because for a lot of teams, a quarter of your season is against teams that you just are going to beat the absolute brakes off of, and you kind of look at, to this guy's point, maybe about how the SEC isn't playing all that much. I think both of y'all are kind of correct in a sense, like, yes, there are some teams out there in the SEC that are playing tough non-conference games, but it is still, it is still frustrating when you look at it. And, let's look at Arkansas, just because I've got their schedule pulled up right here. Like, their first 2 weeks of the season are Alabama A&M and Arkansas State. And you look down the line into some other schools. Auburn plays Ball State, South Alabama, Mercer. It's just, it does. I do think his point is kind of right. It's like, it just doesn't make the regular season as much fun when 25% of your season is dedicated to just winning by 50 against teams that are just absolutely terrible and provide no entertainment factor. And it goes back into kind of the point that I made last week of, yeah, I would like to see more competitive games, but it starts to get into like, all right, well, football is just not going to become a thing for Alabama A&M or a Ball State if they're not able to schedule these teams, because they pay them a lot of money to go play them. But for the common fan that's getting squeezed out of some stuff and stuff like that, it's not all that fun to watch, just a quarter of your games just kind of get flushed down the drain, knowing that there's no entertainment factor to it.
Yeah. So when you put it through that filter, we're all guilty of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every single school. And that's why I keep coming back to when they did talk about the 9 conference games in the SEC. I'm good with it. I mean, I would rather see us. Now the question would be, would one of those remaining 3 non-conference games be against a caliber at least of like a Syracuse? We don't know, but that's the part of me that I just want great games, as many as possible. And even when it's our guys, even when it's Tennessee, I mean, think back to this when the first game last season, Nico's kind of coming out party was what? Was that Chattanooga? I've lost track at this point.
I think so, yeah.
The very first game. And it was like, okay, this is going to be a fun season. I mean, he was dropping balls everywhere and beautiful passes, etc. But then you kind of qualified it. By the time it got to Kent State, he threw an absolutely glorious dime that I'll always remember. at one point, but it was also like, man, this is not. We talked about it going into that week. We previewed our opponents like we always do. It's like, these guys are horrible, man. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the country.
Yeah.
And I don't get a lot of joy out of that. And I guess if you're a fan base, what's more important? Is it more important to get those 3 wins? That's what Kurt Cignetti's saying, right? It's like, we need to get those wins because the Big Ten is going to be hard. I'm kind of like, if in an expanded format, if we went to 16 games, we were critical of this last week when Tony Petitti was saying, hey, there's a lot of good 8-4 teams out there. If it was that your schedule is chock full of Power 4 games, then I'd buy into that differently. Kind of like college baseball to a degree. The amount of losses can be a little more negotiable, but not when 3 of your games, like you said, a quarter of your season is like exhibitions.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
And it sucks for fans, but as it relates to Danny White and other athletic directors around the country, they want the money that you get paid to go and play in the college football playoff. So
right.
If you can schedule as many easy wins as possible to, boost that resume up and make sure that you're getting into the 10-win range and everything like that, so that you're in conversation for a college football playoff berth and you can go and make the university even more money. That's all they care about.
Yeah, and that's the truth. At the end of the day, that's the part we're watching it. We're getting consumed by it, and it's coming at every angle, whether it's by all these deals, whether it's, about private equity getting involved, whether it's about how it rubs off on the fans with talent fees and all these other things. That's the part of it that's hard. This is first and foremost, and more so than ever, it's become a business. And it's all about how they're going to make money. And I applaud everything Danny White has done, by the way. This is not a condemnation of, I love him as our athletic director, but I was going to say he's just like all the others, but he's better than that. But what that means is they're going to continue to find ways to drive revenue. And sometimes it may mean having to endure some of these kind of games, unfortunately. All right. That wraps up hour 2 of this show. Take a quick time out. When we return, we have midday headlines. A lot of things going on in the world of sports this past weekend. Sam will kick that off for us in hour 3. We also have some media news to talk about. Got to review Happy Gilmore. And then we have champions of the weekend, too. We're going to talk about all of that in hour 3 of the show. Stick around. We'll be right back. It's under review, and it's Fan Run Radio.
For the fans, by the fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Light and refreshing tasting, uniquely cold way filtered. There's an iconic flavor for everyone. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Listen up, this is Thomas Miles, nephew Tommy. Okay now, fellas, let's be adults for a minute. Let me ask you something. When the lights go down in the bedroom, are you still clocking in? Or is the equipment on strike? Look, erectile dysfunction is real. It can mess with your mood, your confidence, and don't even talk about the side-eye you get from your lady. But there's good news. Men's Pro Knoxville has licensed medical providers who specialize in turning oh no into let's go. And forget those same old pills. They don't work for everybody. These folks have options most men don't even know exist. Your consultation, just $99. Blood work, consult, and maybe even a test dose if the doc says so. They got an in-house lab, so you'll know where you stand in minutes, not days. So stop stressing. Call 865-544-8220 or hit menspronknoxville.com. Men's Pro Knoxville. Making it happen.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update, presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Rangers complete the sweep of the Braves. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Radio Network morning update.
Get clean car happy all season long at Tidal Wave with exclusive membership discounts, giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for more information.
The Braves went deep in the heart of Texas and came away losers of all three games against the Texas Rangers. That culminated with the 8-1 loss on Sunday afternoon. Sean Murphy provided the only RBI for the Braves, a ground rule double in the second inning. Bryce Elder got knocked around again, 2 2/3, 6 hits, 8 earned runs, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. If you're looking for a bright spot from the 3-game set in Texas, it was Michael Harris II. He was 8 for 13 in the series, including a game on Saturday in which he had 12 total bases. He didn't get the cycle because the single turned into a triple. The Braves are off to Kansas City this week with a 3-game set. Spencer Strider going tonight. He's 4-8 as a 3.72 ERA and 89 strikeouts. Rich Hill going for the Royals. He's 0-1, has a 1.80 ERA and a strikeout on the season. For leadoff show coverage with myself and Chris Domino, 6:25, 5:25 Central. First pitch against the Royals, 7:40 Eastern, 6:40 Central, right here on the Braves Radio Network.
Hour 3 of Under Review starts now.
Welcome back to the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios of Fox Sports Knoxville Fan Run Radio. It's Under Review. Bob Baskerville here with Sam Beard, Brett Hollander, Jake Jenkins. Starting your week off right. Hope you had a great weekend. Covering a lot of things, mostly Tennessee football because football time is close and it's upon us. If you think about practice and Josh Heupel talking to the media, everything else. Boo Carter, will he or won't he? All those things. We're covering it all for you today. Appreciate you being a part of the show. You can also be a part of the show live on the phone lines. They're open. Area code 865-966-3435. That's 966-3435. You can also hit us up on X at Fox Sports Knoxville, at Fox Sports Knox. And also, let us know what's on your mind, too, on this whole thing with Boo, because we kind of go back and forth on this. And it's not a slam dunk that he's going to be here. Guess we'll know more in the next approximately 24 hours, I would think. But it's going to be one that we are keeping our eyes on. Time for some midday headlines. All sorts of things happening in the world of sports. And for that, I hand it over to Sam Beard.
Got some big blue chip news as it relates to Tennessee football, as 2 of the, I would say, 3 highest rated guys that Tennessee is after are announcing their commitment dates. 5-star interior offensive lineman Darius Gray will announce his commitment August 22nd. He has told Rivals he is the number 1 interior offensive lineman in that 2026 class. Nets out as the number 31 overall player in the country, choosing between Clemson, LSU, Ohio State, South Carolina, and Tennessee. From Richmond, Virginia. So I feel like that has been an area where Tennessee's been recruiting pretty well. But Darius Gray, big 5-star interior offensive lineman, he makes his commitment date official, and as well as Savion Heiter, 5-star running back, announces his college commitment on August 19th. So those guys within 3 days of each other. He is the number 1 running back in the 2026 class. Definitely a little more highly rated, the number 8 overall prospect, whereas Darius Gray sits at number 31. So 2 very, very highly sought after guys. Heiter will be announcing between Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, and Tennessee. But kind of from what I've read, it's pretty much a 2-man race between Michigan and Tennessee. It kind of seems like for Heiter.
Michigan's got that money.
And I guess Bryce Underwood will still be there by the time he gets around town. But historically, Michigan also a team that likes to run the rock too. Tennessee does as well, but I think maybe from like a outside glance, maybe some prospects are like, oh, I'll probably get the ball a little bit more at Michigan than I will at Tennessee.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I mean, those are two big commitments that Tennessee obviously wants to. I would say the goal is maybe to get one of those guys, and then hope you can flip Tristan Keys, and that's kind of the cherry on top. But boy, it would really suck if you went 0 for 3 on Heiter, Darius Gray, and then Keys kind of stayed put at LSU. Yeah. That would kind of be a real damper to the 26 class that has, built some really nice positive momentum here in the last month or so.
I agree. We need them all.
Need them all. I'll take all 3.
Yes.
No problem with me. Where do I go here? Shamar Stewart. I think that one should be finally put to bed. Good for him. Him and the Bengals have finally reached agreement on a 4-year, fully guaranteed $18.97 million contract that includes $10.4 million signing bonus. That is now officially made every 2025 first-round pick under contract, as his camp and the Bengals were going back and forth for way too long on contract language and stuff like that. But seemingly Shamar Stewart kind of gets what he was asking for, and frankly probably gets what he deserves as well, being a first-round guy. But leave it to the Bengals to just go all the way last minute with some guy in terms of contract negotiations to make sure that he will be in the boat and will be playing football for the Bengals this year.
It's got to be tough if you're like a talent like a Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase watching all this. Hey, you guys took care of us, and that's awesome, but we can't do it.
And also with how bad their defense has been, guys, we're at the top of our game. We are doing just fine offensively. Just meet me, not even in the middle. Just meet me in the bottom half of the middle or something like that, or in the back half of the league in defense, and we should be able to mend this thing up. But who knows, man? It's we'll see if he can get out on the field and have an immediate impact. Browns quarterback Kenny Pickett injured his hamstring near the end of Saturday's practice. Expected to be reevaluated later this week, according to Adam Schefter. One step closer to Shedeur Sanders being the Browns starting quarterback, Bob. It's a big one. I mean, it's now Flacco, the only guy that stands in his way.
Yeah.
Unless Dylan Gabriel's going to go get the start over him.
God, that'd be crazy, right? If Shedeur gets this after all that.
Is he the quarterback at some point for the Browns this year, starting quarterback?
I think so.
Yeah,
I do.
How long do you think it takes?
I think it's more mid-season. I don't think it's immediate.
I think it's fair.
It's coming, though.
Yeah, I want to see it happen, honestly.
Yeah.
I want to see it happen. Mentioned it a little bit with Russell. Braves aren't doing well, but the Speedway Classic tickets are. They have crossed 85,000 tickets sold. Game is set to break the MLB's all-time attendance record for 84,587. That was set back in 1954. Where the hell were they playing back in 1954 for this? Doubleheader at Cleveland Stadium between Cleveland and the New York Yankees. Didn't know that we had baseball stadiums back in the 50s that were holding 85,000 people, but that's going to be unbelievable. Saturday's game, nationally televised game, will be the first MLB game ever played in Tennessee. Pretty cool. And then obviously at Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm in on that one. I'm not in on the Braves right now. They're killing me, but I am interested just to see like what it looks like in terms of just specs and stuff like that, and how awkward does it look being in the middle of a speedway. But I don't know. I think this almost kind of falls into like Hall of Fame game category where it's like, all right, let me watch 4 innings maybe, and then you get into like the 6th, then you're like, all right, I've had enough of this one.
I've seen some angles where they've got that suspended scoreboard display. And I saw some angle yesterday where it looks like, because it's all tethered, it's almost like they pulled it in, but it's still hanging overhead, like over the seats.
Yeah.
It's like, God, man.
Someone's going to be breaking their neck to try and know what the score is, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird, man. I don't know if they cleared it for pictures. Maybe that was what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then maybe it goes back out. I'm intrigued by it, but even if you offered me tickets for free to that, I'm not sure I would go.
Really?
Just feels like a lot of work, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. I'm sure there's probably some angles that are pretty good, but it's just not my thing. I want to see baseball in a baseball park, but I'll check it out on TV for sure.
I think that's fair, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you went out there, and I do just, if it's not broke, don't fix it type of thing.
Right.
Baseball at the ballpark is the best place to consume it.
Definitely.
Not according to Rob Manfred, though. Some Tennessee baseball players finalizing their deals. Dean Curley signs his deal with the Cleveland Guardians over slot value. Good for him. He finds himself making a good bit of money there. As pretty much all of our Tennessee players have kind of finalized that one. As Cannon Peebles signed over the weekend. Dean Curley, he signs for $1.77 million, where his slot value was at $1.38. So signed above slot there. Cannon Peebles gets a $150,000 signing bonus. Nate Snead signs for about $597. His slot value was $729. But pretty much all of those guys in the boat now. Liam Doyle, Gavin Keelan, Phillips, Franklin, Snead, Fisher, Russell, Curley, Peebles, all signed and ready to go in their professional career, as well as Steele Hall, Billy Carlson, Schoolcraft, and Matt Barr. They have all gone their ways.
I guess I missed Phillips. I mean, do you roughly remember what he signed for?
Phillips signed for 2.5, slot value at 2.9, so just a little bit under there, but still a nice payday for him.
And then when you mentioned Peebles, because I'd seen that $150,000. I mean, that's his signing bonus. Does he have some other base salary that he's getting? Or,
I mean, that's just
that's it.
You got 150 for signing, and then you're kind of on your way playing pro ball from there.
Chase the dream and see if you can connect.
Correct. What the hell are the Bulls doing, Bob? Billy Donovan and his tenure with the Bulls will continue. He's been with the organization for 5 seasons with a incredible 195-205 record, making the playoffs just once. But now let's sign him to a multi-year extension. I've never seen some guy have so much job security being so average.
I was going to say perfectly average
Yeah,
record.
I mean, it's just like, hey, can you make it into the play-in tournament each year? Good for me. We need to get Jerry Reinsdorf out of sports so bad.
Yeah,
him and the White Sox and the Bulls. I think that's 2 teams that deserve better. And honestly, just for all sports fans, we need to just get him out of sports.
Yeah,
he falls into the category of owners where it's just like you're making your team worse, and it's upsetting to watch it, kind of thing.
Yeah, Billy Donovan does not. I don't feel like his story in the NBA has been successful. It hasn't been a disaster, but it's just been kind of.
I feel like it's almost just like ruined some of his reputation that was so good in his college days.
Yeah.
Like, I think people are just now going to remember him as like the super average NBA coach instead of being like a really great college coach. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Kansas's Bill Self, released from the hospital after having a heart procedure, was hospitalized Thursday after experiencing some concerning symptoms, the school announced underwent a heart procedure to insert 2 stents. Expected to make a full recovery. Was released from the hospital Saturday. 62 years old. Said he wants to thank the amazing doctors and nurses at LMH Health for his excellent care he received during his stay there. Feels strong, ready. He said he's excited to be home. Our team has had a productive summer and look forward to our batteries being recharged and prepping for the upcoming season. I did think this one was kind of interesting, though, seeing kind of a health scare from Bill Self. I feel like you haven't exactly seen that in the past. Like 62 years old, not the oldest guy in the world.
No.
Seeing this news from Bill Self just made me also think, like, you never see this kind of stuff from like Rick Barnes. I mean, he's up there in his 70s, and like that's a guy that obviously seems like he's in great shape, just mentally, physically, like kind of still confirming what we've talked about over the last few seasons. Like it feels like he's almost peaking and kind of finding some new life in his coaching career right now and all of this transfer portal era stuff. And I don't know. I think with the way that some of the great college basketball coaches have retired over the last few years, it does feel like Self and Rick Barnes are kind of some of the only long-lasting guys still there. So obviously prayers for Bill Self and hope that he can be healthy and on the sidelines, but also just made me thankful that Rick Barnes at his age is just being this on the top of his game. It makes me feel good that he's kind of just still kicking, still going at his best.
Yeah, we talked about this on Friday, Sam. You're right. I mean, Barnes, I think, is 71, and and he does stay active. Self, it's interesting because I like Bill Self as one of the greats as far as a coach goes, and I've always kind of liked his personality. I know there was the accusations of cheating and all that stuff, but you can tell it's kind of taken its toll on him over the years. He's put on weight and he just looks different than he did like 5 to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I just think some of these guys may not be built for it, and it's hard. And it sounds like he's going to make a full recovery. I hope he does. But yes, it made me think the same thing about thankful for a lot of reasons that we have Barnes as our coach, but he's also a guy that's like, he could pass. He's 71. He could pass for 60 for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty encouraging news though about Self. Hopefully we'll see him back on the sideline soon.
Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin reported to their training camp on Sunday morning following a 4-day holdout. The Commanders and his team have yet to agree to a new contract, but I would say that is a welcome sign that Terry McLaurin at least reports to camp. The Commanders removed him from the reserve / did not report list for camp, placed him on the PUP list basically due to an ankle injury from the previous season, which I think is funny. That's basically just them kind of saying, we've got him in the building now, but we're going to kind of make up a fake injury so that we can get this contract negotiated. But I would say that this, if you're a Commanders fan or maybe a fantasy owner or anything like that of Terry McLaurin, I would say this is a good sign that all things are probably going to end up with a new contract that keeps him in Washington for the time being.
I'm happy about that. I mean, I hope they work it out, but it feels like he belongs there.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him continue on with our guy Daniels too. I love it.
Lastly here, the Kansas City Royals keeping Seth Lugo on a 2-year, $46 million contract extension. One of the big trade candidates really kind of off the market before the trade deadline in the MLB, which is on Thursday, reaffirming Kansas City's intentions to try and pursue a playoff spot. AL's wide open. They feel like Seth Lugo is a guy that can be a big contributing factor in that. $20 million a season plus a $3 million signing bonus, includes a vesting option for a third season for $20 million or a $17 million club option with a $3 million buyout. Finished second in AL Cy Young voting last season. Has had a pretty nice season so far this year. 2.95 ERA over 113 innings. They said he was expected to decline a $15 million player option for 26 and reach free agency, but then had a good year with the Royals and kind of said, hey, I want to stay in here and negotiate an extension. So he stays with the Royals, stays a key part of their rotation, also stays away from one of the big names in baseball trying to poach him away, probably the Dodgers or something like that. Can't get this one, Bob. Nice try.
Yeah, they need pitching, let me tell you. Did you see this about Aaron Judge? He goes on the 10-day IL, which that's one thing. But you just talked about the trade deadline. This is the part that drives me nuts. The Yankees are just like on a spree. You know, they're no big names, but they've brought in like 3 players now in the last 3 or 4 days. Kind of like, okay, we don't have a Judge. Let's go start trading prospects and get Ryan McMahon, get Ahmed Rosario. And it's like, I hate them.
I did see something that was pretty funny. Was in one of those Nationals and Yankees deals with Ahmed Rosario. There was a minor league guy who was pitching for the Rail Riders against the Rochester Red Wings. And then due to the trade, he was involved in that one. He was now pitching the next day for the Red Wings against the Rail Riders. So he was pitching against his old team, but basically just like went across the diamond, was like, all right, let's just swap dugouts and then we'll go on our merry way. I always find that so funny with like minor league prospects.
I was going to say, we've had that happen a few times, right? Where they're like in the same park and they're like, I mean, literally,
and
like
then just take a left instead of a right.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff there.
Did you see the news? Dion's holding a press conference today or something?
Yeah, I didn't. Team? I was kind of holding that one because I wanted to confirm it, but
it sounds like it was 11 their time today.
I don't want to taint my reputation here, Brett, by reporting false rumors.
Are you saying you're not having a press conference?
No,
I'm just saying I want to. I want to confirm
you want to hear the
rumors.
press? That he may or may not retire or something.
Yeah,
College Football Transfer Portal's Twitter account says that sources have told him that Dion will step away from coaching.
Yeah, I don't believe any of that stuff for sure.
Due to health-related reasons.
But I think the press conference thing's real for sure.
Why
would we be holding a press conference just randomly if he wasn't going to have?
I don't know. Evidently, he's written a will.
Like
I mean, he had some emotional thing online yesterday.
Yeah, it's supposedly it is to address his health issues. I'm of the belief. Well, let's just amp it up.
Yeah,
I'm of the belief that he could be done because his boys are gone. You know, it's like
my team sucks.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. That'd still be pretty good, but it's like maybe his whole goal was I want to coach my guys and get up my boys, and consider Travis Hunter one of them too, and get them to the.
But didn't he sign like a contract extension and all this other stuff just last year?
Yeah, but
I mean, health can go
That's what I was going to say. I don't,
especially for him.
I think the contract was probably protection, so he wouldn't go take another job. If he works this out with Colorado, if it's truly health related, then I'm sure Colorado's like, okay, go do you. But if it only is he takes a year off and then comes back and, ends up the head coach at Arkansas or something, that could be interesting.
Florida State has another bad year.
Yeah, right. That's a good point too.
I did say lastly, Cowboys, God, yeah.
Stop. What were you going to say, Sam?
I was going to say lastly, but this is some spicy MLB news coming in at the last second. Apparently, Phillies' Bryce Harper reportedly stood nose to nose with MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred during a meeting last week and told him, quote, get the F out of our clubhouse if he wanted to talk about a salary cap.
Wow.
Apparently, Rob Manfred does these meetings where he conducts annually, just going around to a bunch of different clubhouses around the league and probably kind of gets some player opinions on some things and tries to, stay shaking hands with everyone and showing his face around the league and stuff like that. Not welcome in Philly. Bryce Harper tells him, get the hell out of here. I don't want to talk about anything that you're talking about. If it's salary cap, any of that nonsense, if you want to speak about that, you can get the F out of our clubhouse.
Wow.
Manfred said that he responded. Sources are saying that Manfred responded and said he was not going to get the F out of here, and that it's important to talk about the threats to MLB business and the ways to grow the game.
We can never lose sight of the fact that Rob Manfred's like a total clown.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Fraud.
Yeah. As far as commissioners go, he's like one of the worst.
Imagine if Bryce Harper just like sucker punched Rob Manfred. He's got a black eye. We got to announce the Bryce Harper suspension, and Manfred comes up to the stage, just pirate patch or something like that.
I'd be there for it.
Man, Bryce Harper beat my ass, but we got to suspend him for 20 games or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I'd be there for it. Not a big Rob Manfred fan.
No. All right, that's about it for me. I just had to make sure that Bryce Harper got his Rob Manfred fix in.
Now that's worth noting. Wonder if Vitello reached out to Harper saying, buddy.
Tone it down a little bit,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I do think Bryce Harper, though, has kind of reached that point in his career where it's like,
yeah,
money's obviously not a factor for like a fine or a suspension or anything like that. He's kind of he's at the point where he can basically just kind of say whatever he wants to whoever he wants. Probably pretty freeing for him to be able to tell the commissioner of his own sport, get the F out of my clubhouse.
Yeah, it's true. All right, Sam, that's a good batch of headlines. Let's take a break. When we return, we're going to talk a little sports media stuff. All of this constant like thinning down of things in terms of viewing options because streaming's getting in the way. A network announces possible plans now for another all sports network. Just why not, right? Losing money hand over fist and all this stuff, but let's make another network. We'll talk about that and some other things. Got to talk about Happy Gilmore too. Not the first one, the second one, even though Sam hasn't seen it. Brett and I have. We'll do our best Siskel and Ebert. Do that on the other side. Stick around. It's under review, and you're listening to Fan Run Radio.
The flagship station for Tennessee fans. This is Fan Run Radio.
Yeehaw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
In a world filled with deadlines and screens, sometimes we forget the simple joys of life, days filled with special moments. At Inward Half, we understand the essence of these moments. Feel the difference between our breathable fabrics and flexible apparel as you disconnect from the hustle and bustle and reconnect with what truly matters. Inward Half, simple luxury for on and off the course.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance. Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
Look out, East Tennessee. It's The Chase. Right here on Fan Run Radio and Fox Sports Knoxville. Join me, Tennessee sports renaissance man, Chase Thomas, and the biggest rising stars in Tennessee sports media like Ryan Shumpert, Ethan Stone, Ryan Sylvia, Caleb Jarreau, William Pattison, and so many more folks every weekday from 1 to 3 p.m. on WKGN's newest show, where we talk all things Tennessee Vols and always take your calls.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
Welcome back. Got some media news for you on Monday. We call it Media Monday. So we talked about this guy joining the ACC network last week, and we were wondering what it all meant. And now I think we know more. The ACC network announced that they're going to expand their coverage on their ACC Huddle show, which is their version of SEC Nation, College Game Day, what have you. In the past, they don't always go to on-site locations. They would be at some of the bigger ACC games, certainly the ACC Conference Championship game, etc. They're going to be at the kind of the headline ACC game each week on site, unless, you know, it's the top game that's not being covered maybe by College Game Day, if it's so happens it's at an ACC school. So it is very similar to what SEC Nation does. And their first one, they're going to be, I think they're going to be doing Clemson, LSU at Clemson, which is it's a great first game to go make that appearance at. What's most noteworthy, though, is they made some changes on camera. Their team of 4 last year was Kelsey Riggs, who has now moved over to ESPN. And then it was Eddie Royal. I forget the guy's name. It was a lineman at Clemson. I want to say McLean or something like that. And then EJ Manuel was also part of that group, and Mark Richt. This year, they're paring it down to 4 people. Taylor Tannenbaum, who just came out of local TV last year. She's actually pretty good. She's going to be the host. Eddie Royal and the McLean guy, again, I might be getting his name wrong, the guy from Clemson, they'll both be there. Mark Richt is out. And we thought that may be the case. He's being replaced by Jimbo Fisher. Richt, the last couple of years, you know, he's suffering from Parkinson's disease, which is a tough one. And sometimes I couldn't help but think, because I have a family member who's stricken with it as well, and there is medication that can help kind of slow things down in terms of all the tremors, et cetera, but then it also slows you down in your head mentally. And sometimes I feel like when I'd watch that, man, Richt just looked so like almost semi-sedated when he was out there. Mm-hmm. It was just tough to watch. And he's, by all accounts, a good dude. I know we always used to poke fun of Mark Richt has lost control of his program and all those things, but good dude all the way around. So I'm not surprised, Sam, that he's been replaced by Jimbo. I think Jimbo will be an interesting voice. But I would give ACC Network credit. Maybe it was done as, in companionship with what Richt was feeling too, but you just don't want that to go on too long.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do think there's at some point, you kind of got to say, hey, we need some. You don't want to kind of put a guy. It kind of gives me almost like some Lee Corso, like College Game Day type of vibes, where it's like, right. Hey, man, you obviously you respect this guy's opinion and his football mind and what he's been able to do for the sport and stuff like that, but also at some point, you don't want it to kind of be almost looking like you're parading the guy out there, and it's right. Almost just like it almost looks unethical at times to kind of see him out there.
Right.
And I mean that in the nicest way possible, because, yeah, I mean, like what Mark Richt has been able to do for the sport and everything has been great, but at some point, I think you do have to kind of cut your losses a little bit and say, hey, Jimbo Fisher, a guy that's willing to kind of get into the game as an analyst, and health-wise, you hope that you can kind of just let Mark Richt kind of focus on that kind of stuff and phase him out of the game a little bit slowly there. So I think that'll be a welcome addition for sure.
Yeah, and in general terms, I'm a fan of these on-site pregame shows too. So I mean, it's just another one. You got to record them all.
Yeah,
you just never know what you're going to hear.
Yeah,
they don't at ACC Network. They're kind of business like they don't have like a character per se, like SEC Nation. You know, I guess you could call Feinbaum that. You know, and those guys have some serious chemistry. ACC Networks is not like that. So I think they got some work to do. Maybe Jimbo will be a big enough personality. I don't know. It's just interesting to see what will happen there for sure. Elsewhere, NBC announces possible plans for a new all sports network. Now, they just got out of the all sports network game like 2 years ago when they shut down NBC Sports Network. By all accounts, Sam, this appears to be they're already feeling the pinch of what they're spending on the NBA contract. And now because there's talk of some of this might even be, games and events that are being simulcast on Peacock going over to this channel. So that tells me they're probably needing to sell more ad time and other things. Peacock, maybe the subscriber pickup is not quite what they expected. And again, they paid a ton. They paid a ton for the NBA. I mean, they overspent just to get it. So all of a sudden they're like, let's get back into the channel game. And that's a hard one to get into. If you're going to start one from scratch, it's almost like it's a guaranteed death sentence. It's so hard to get carriage at this point for any network that's not a major network. You can't get carriage on some of these providers because everybody's paying so much attention to streaming. So the question is, will they take over one of their existing channels? The name that keeps coming up is USA Network, which they own.
I feel like we've been like slowly seeing a lot more sports on USA over the last couple of years as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just only coming off of watching the Open all week long, and it's been on USA in the morning. I'm thinking of it.
They did a lot of Olympics coverage there, and the only stuff that really moves the needle for USA Network at this point is repeats of like Suits and those types of shows. So live events, by the way, Suits was something that NBC owned, and now they've gotten some of it on the broadcast network. And they've also probably gotten a pretty rich deal when they licensed it out to Netflix as well. So they might be looking at it as, again, the last frontier for TV as we once knew it is live sports and news. And so maybe they're looking at it as, okay, let's take a crack at doing live sports again and going from there. But found it ironic that they just shut that business down a couple of years ago. Now they're talking about resurrecting it. It's kind of a crazy time. All right. Got to talk a little bit about Happy Gilmore too.
Can I pause real quick before Happy Gilmore here, Bob?
Yes, sir.
With some more Dion news here. There is I'm seeing some pictures of like the press conference desk getting set, and it is Coach Prime as well as their director of urologic oncology, as well as the assistant athletic trainer at the table with him.
Okay.
So that doesn't sound too good.
No. Unless who knows? He might be taking a leave or something too. That's another thing. But
want to monitor this weekend though, for sure. Or not this weekend, but today.
No, that's going to be very interesting. And it sounds like that happens after we're off the air. So sure we'll have stuff to talk about.
Sorry to just really make Happy Gilmore just fall down the list. Joel Wyatt, 2026 elite athlete.
Yes.
Committed to Tennessee.
Hell yeah.
4 minutes ago.
That's great news.
Yes, sir.
Great news.
Another addition to that 2026 class.
Bring him on.
Number 58 player in the country, number 4 athlete overall. Big news there. 6'4", 200-pound guy.
Love it.
Yeah, big time there.
Speaking of that,
we could not have lost a recruiting battle to Vanderbilt. That would have been terrible.
No.
Would have been terrible.
When we were talking with Shump, and we really didn't dig into it, but this Jace Juice Johnson. So he's a class of 27 quarterback, and he's a 5-star. all I can think of is, again, that sounds sexy to be stacking these guys with, Faison Brandon and the ones we've got already. But do we feel Josh is just, I guess this is kind of a game where it's like you almost have to expect you're going to lose one of them at some point. You can't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just not sustainable. These are great, but it's like, Brandon's coming in at 26, and what are you thinking? He's only going to play for a year? It's like, I don't know.
No, I think you'll see, unfortunately, maybe like a George McIntyre transfer out or something like that. I mean, I think, yes, I think that's kind of his recruiting tactic is like, let's go out there and let's really evaluate the quarterback that we love kind of at the start. And we're going to build our class around this guy.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I do think it's like, hey, you got to, if you're stacking every class with a quarterback to kind of be that centerpiece of each year's class, you're right. Like at some point, one of these guys isn't going to be able to see the field type of thing. Like
right.
Jake Merklinger might be that guy this year type of thing, where he maybe finds himself transferring out of the program and wants to go start. I know that he wasn't necessarily a centerpiece guy of a class, but I do think you're right. Like you're going to start seeing a couple of these guys eventually not really be able to hit the field for Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think it's just strength in numbers and say, hey, we're going to trust our evaluations on, 3 to 4 of these guys and hope we can ride it out with like 2 of them over the stretch of a couple of years.
It does underscore, and it stands to reason because he played the position, but it underscores how important quarterbacks are to Josh and his system.
Absolutely.
Right? Because
absolutely.
It feels like an emphasis on quarterbacks that I don't ever recall before, as far as how we're recruiting.
Yeah.
We'd go for a heavy hitter now and then in the past, but now it's like every single season we're out there going after them.
Yep.
All right. Happy Gilmore. Now, a couple of guys in the room have not seen this. Jake, you have not seen Happy Gilmore 2, right?
I've not. It's on the list. I need to rewatch Happy Gilmore 1. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I got to say, I started watching last night, and I was mistaken because they had kind of buried at least in my algorithm on Netflix, Happy Gilmore 2. And so I saw Happy Gilmore, and I was like, all right. And about 2-3 minutes in, I was like, this is the original. I was like, what the hell, So I had to do like a search in Netflix, and then it came up. That was the only way I could find it. But then I did watch it. Brett, you watched it.
I did.
Sam, I was telling Sam in the break, there's not much of a spoiler alert here. So the fact he hasn't seen it's I don't think it's a big problem. But what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it was all right. I mean, you go into an Adam Sandler movie not expecting, you can kind of know what to expect. I was more looking at the kind of the cameos and maybe a little bit of a plot, which was an interesting one to say the least. I feel like it threw in a little TGL and almost a Live Golf PGA Tour type battle in there as well. But the funny thing was the guys on Sandler's team were a couple of Live guys. So I thought it was good. I mean, it was a little long, but I thought for the most part it was all right. And so you don't really have to watch the first one to watch the second one at all. But, they brought back some older people, older cast, and the faces, and there were a lot of them, to say the least. A lot of names and people you'll recognize for sure. But I thought it was all right. I won't give it maybe a B overall.
1 to 100.
1 to 100, probably 75, 80.
I feel like that's pretty good for Happy Gilmore.
I'd probably go 65, 70. I fell asleep. and it was more like when it was getting good, and I came back and rewound it a little bit and watched, but I don't know, man. And everybody loves the cameos. I thought there were too many cameos.
Did you?
Yeah, just like some of them were, like he has every PGA golfer of note that's not Tiger Woods in there.
Oh yeah, there was more than I even thought.
Yeah, they were in there, and then
isn't Eminem in it?
Yeah, he's in it.
That's okay.
Yeah,
was he the son of the heckler in the first one? Right?
Yeah. And then Will Zalatoris plays.
He was great.
He plays the caddy from the first one.
That's good.
I think you could figure that was going to be involved.
Yeah,
that's good.
So there's some things like, don't get me wrong. There were a couple times I laughed like, oh, that's funny. But I think they could have done with less cameos. And this happens in a lot of films, by the way. It was definitely, Sandler had all his family members in the show. He had Benny Safdie in the show, who is his director for Uncut Gems, he's an amazing young director, but he had a pretty prominent role. I did enjoy seeing. I'm a Ben Stiller fan, so Ben Stiller had a pretty prominent role in it, so that was good. But the whole thing, kind of like him, and
Do you like John Daly?
It's okay. It's okay.
He doesn't seem like he'd be the greatest actor in the world.
No. I also thought the weird like alliance thing that happened with him and Shooter McGavin was, it's just. I think it's hard, by the way, too. I mean, this movie was 30 years ago, so it's hard to kind of go back and pull the greatest hits from that and make it work. I mean, that's
that like Carl Weathers and stuff.
What's that again?
With that like Carl Weathers in it.
Yeah.
Since he passed recently.
Yeah, Chubbs. Yeah. So I mean,
someone's always going to be upset.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's not as good as the first.
Some people
one,
absolutely hated the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've read.
I've seen a lot of negative reviews.
I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was horrible, but I'm not sure that I absolutely wouldn't watch it again.
Who did they have as like the announcer of the turn? Like I know they had like Vern Lundquist in the original one.
It was Vern again.
They had Vern in there again.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then some
Post
other guy
Malone was in there at one point.
Who was?
Post Malone?
Yeah, Post Malone. Dan Patrick's in it. I mean, there's a lot of people in it.
From first guess, then as someone who hasn't seen the movie, I think I agree with you. There's too many cameos.
Yeah, it's a lot. And
there weren't that many in the original one.
No.
Like I feel like it's what 6 or 7, maybe something like that.
That's right. Yeah,
feels
each
like
scene
15.
you could name somebody. Like it was crazy.
They did. It was kind of an homage, like you said. Like you talked about Chubbs. They showed his tombstone.
Oh,
they were
cool.
they were at a graveyard, and same for Bob Barker. They the folks that were in the first one that aren't with us anymore. So I mean,
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny was he had a pretty prominent role actually.
He did.
Yeah, it was all right. Like I said, I mean, just the whole thing about his sons were exactly like him, and
That was a bit much.
It was a lot. It was. Buscemi was okay. I'm telling you, dude, there's so many. I've lost track. Paige Spiranak's in there, which that's never bad. But
Is Travis Kelce in it too?
Oh, Kelsey's in it. Yeah.
Oh, God,
I mean, it's nonstop, man. It's nonstop. And then some really deep cuts like Nancy Lopez, the professional
Nelly
golfer.
Corda.
Yeah, Nelly Corda.
Charlie Hole.
Yeah, that's right. Charlie Hole.
She's smoking cigarettes out there on the course.
Surprisingly not. She was on the putt-putt.
But it's you get the gist, man. That's my point. I think maybe that's what turned me off.
Scotty was good. I thought Scotty was good.
Scotty's good. He's
just class.
He was just him, that's all. Some of the other guys are themselves, but it doesn't work as
Shoffley
well.
was funny.
Yeah. So anyway.
Jack, I mean, you can go on and on about the golfers. I mean, there was 50 golfers.
Yeah, it was a lot. Eric Andre was in it. I like him.
I didn't. Did you like the
Andre.
villain for the other side? Not Shooter, but then the guy that was trying to get Happy on the mat seat. Did you like him?
That's Benny Safdie. That's who I was talking about. Yeah, he's all right. He was in. He's in the latest Nathan Fillion, not the rehearsal, but the other one that he did on Showtime. I forget
the Rookie.
Not the Rookie. Not Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fielder.
Sorry. Anyway,
Nathan for you.
Nathan, no,
that.
No,
his other show,
he had
Nathan
this
for
other
You?
one. I forget. It was on Showtime. We'll have to research that and let you know. But all right, The Curse. That was it.
Okay,
that was it. He was in The Curse. All right, quick timeout. When we return, we'll wrap things up. We got to do Champions of the Weekend to wrap this show up today. So stick around. We'll be right back. It's under review on Fan Run Radio.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Get hurt in the game? We tough it out. Feel exhausted? We push on. Feeling down? We pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But there are times when bootstraps aren't enough. When stress gets to us and we need to talk to someone about what we're really going through. So we're going to reach out because sometimes mental health is not a one-person job. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Hey Knoxville, Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Final segment, some champions of the weekend. There were a few. For me, I have 3 of them. Number 3 was Caitlin Clark. Even when she's injured and not playing, she's making headlines. And why I say that is yesterday, she does this before all the Indiana Fever games. I mean, she could be pulling the card of, I got to be doing, physical therapy, working on stuff. I can't really travel with the team. She's at every single game for the team. And yesterday they were on the road in Chicago. She made time yesterday to sign over 200 autographs for fans. She's present. She understands the impact that it has for her, her team, and the WNBA. There were some young girls who were like in tears, because they got a chance to get an autograph from Caitlin. So she understands the gravity of her situation and doesn't shy away from it. So I love that. Number 2, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. Bubba Wallace, what a dramatic and significant win for Bubba. I'm not a big NASCAR fan, but I do pay attention to the Brickyard because it's at Indy, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He ends a nearly 3-year winless streak. He won this race in overtime, how they do it against Kyle Larson. Couldn't remember his last name. But Trey Wallace's cousin, Bubba, gets a win. Big time.
Big time.
Number 1 for me, Rakia Jackson. Okay, we spend all our time talking about Caitlin and Angel when we talk about it, WNBA stuff, but how about at LVFL? Jackson quietly is having a strong season with the LA Sparks, averaging 14 points, 2 boards, 3 assists. Saturday night, she scored 24 and had a wild game winner on the road against the defending W champions, the New York Liberty. LA's like becoming a decent team, and she's a big part of that plan. So we never really talk about her because of the West Coast and everything, but she's a Lady Vol who's, I think, doing really well in the W.
I got 2 winners for the weekend. Shout out to the A's young rookie.
Oh, God.
Nick Kurtz. Yeah. Maybe the greatest baseball game, just individual performance in history. 6 for 6, 4 home runs, 6 runs and 8 RBIs. Never in baseball's 150-year history has a player finished a game with at least 6 hits, 6 runs, and 8 RBIs. 19 total bases, ties Sean Green's single-game record. And Kurtz had 1 more RBI. I mean, just unbelievable game. He literally could have had 5 home runs, too. He was about a foot away from one of his doubles being another home run. Unbelievable performance from them. And then my last champion of the weekend, shout out to Nikola Jokic and his horse.
Yeah.
He, as we all know, Jokic loves his horses, and his horse won a race in Serbia this past weekend, and he was very outwardly emotional, Bob. I mean, he was crying, showed more emotion for his horse winning his race than his NBA championship or any of his accomplishments in his career. I love how much Nikola Jokic loves his horses and how basketball is just like secondary in his life. It's like, all right, let me go put all of my eggs into the horse racing basket, and then when it's the off season for that, I guess I'll go play a little bit of basketball in between.
Yeah. It was cool to see that. It was definitely cool. By the way, Kurtz, I heard the A's announcers, doing the calls on this. Their nickname for him is the Big Amish. I don't know
He's
why.
Amish?
I don't know, but
He's gotta be. His
when he
nickname's
was
the Big
when he was
Amish.
coming around the bases, he was doing the stirring thing. That was the motion, because of doing his.
I did see
celebration.
Dallas Braden doing that. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, but he's one of only 20 players ever to hit 4 home runs in a game.
He was born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, so that makes sense. I don't think he's Amish, but that's obviously
Amish country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, shout out, he's an in-state guy. He played high school baseball at Baylor.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then played at Wake, right? I think he was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Good show today. We're off and running another week, getting closer to football. Sam, great work by you. Thank you. Brett, appreciate your help as always. Jake, appreciate you too. And you, the listener, appreciate you spending time with us. Keep it locked in on Fan Run Radio. The programming continues. The Chase is next at 1 p.m. with Chase Thomas, followed by The Drive with Russell Smith at 3, and then The Slate with William Pattison. We'll be back here tomorrow. See you then. Hope you have a great day.